Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Naruto has a rare Kekkei Genkai. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. There was a baby crying, loudly, but that wasn't the only thing that could be heard. There was also sighing, grumbling, coughing, complaining, and the explosions coming from the surface above. 5 nin, Anbu, all stood in a perfect circle. In the middle was a baby, blonde-haired and beautiful. He wiggled his short limbs in tiny circles. Countless seals had been carved into the floor. They ran all around the room. Damn, this kid's crying is getting on my fucking nerves. Calm down. Stick to the orders we were given. We're not supposed to be speaking. The conversation between the two Anbu drew the attention of the others. I know Sasaki, but still this kid's crying is working my last nerve. Even though the Anbu member claimed to be angry at the fourth child, he didn't move an inch. He still knew what his orders were. He was not to speak, not to move, and for some strange reason he was told not to look at the infant, not even a glance. It was like the Hokage didn't want anyone to see his son's face. With silence in the room, another Anbu member decided to speak up and support his teammate's anger, breaking orders yet again. You know, Sasaki, Rai might have a point. It is kind of hard to concentrate with this kid's wailing. Sasaki, their leader, let out a big grumble of annoyance at his teammates. He couldn't turn around to look at them. He didn't want to break orders by turning his head toward the kid. He just looked up at the ceiling. I don't know what you two are complaining about. You should be honored. We were specifically chosen to guard this child. He's our savior and is taking on a lot of responsibility. Sasaki could hear both of his teammates sigh in defeat and gave himself a smile of victory. You couldn't see it though. He thought that he had convinced his team to deal with it, but, with the defeat of two, another two came to help out. Sasaki, what are you talking about? Sure, he's our savior, but anyone could be our savior. That comment caused the other three to nod their heads in agreement. Yeah, our savior is a little wailing infant and we don't even know what the little brat looks like. Rai, don't speak badly about the Yondaimi's son. He making huge sacrifice foe. To hell with this sacrifice, anyone could have the Kyuubi sealed inside it. Then how about you, Rai? This brat is about to go through that and he doesn't even know, and if you're so immature that you can't deal with his crying, then you don't have what it takes to be part of my team. Said Rai was instantly quiet at that last comment. He figured that what he captain said was true, so he just stood there in silence, the silence that just realized had come. The little kid had stopped crying, his nightmare was over. You see, Rai, he stopped crying and went to sleep. Are you happy? Don't ever act that childish again. Yes, Sasaki. He was in fact very happy. He could do his job in peace. The child seemed to be at peace. The only thing that was weird was the huge gate that the infant lay in front of. Also, what was behind it didn't pull trigger on normal either. Behind the gates were a huge pair of eyes staring at the young infant boy. They stared with red, slitted eyes. Underneath the eyes was a widespread mouth. Fangs were visible, overlapping clearly exposed teeth. It almost looked like the mouth was smiling. The huge mouth opened and let out a huge roar, causing the child to cry. This little thing, this is what he sealed me into. What a joke, Yondaime, you are a foolish man. Kyuubi no Kitsune. The terror of Konoha and an unstoppable force of nature. This beast was truly a terrible sight to behold. It couldn't be killed, for it was immortal. Yet it was killed, well, its physical body anyway. As for its spirit, that was a different story. Its spirit was in a body but not one of its own. The immortal Kyuubi no Kitsune was sealed away inside of a small infant, the fourth Hokage's legacy, and the fourth Hokage's son. Let me out. Damn him to hell. How dare he seal inside his son and then just die like that? Yondaime, I will get you back even if through this child. I'll kill it. A razor-sharp claw shot out of the gate heading for the still crying infant. It came at amazing speed. Surely this child was going to die and Kyuubi would be free. But Kyuubi's claw stopped just inches away from the child's face. There was something blocking him from killing the newborn babe. What? This must be another trick. This is. Father, I hope he's having a great time with the Shinigami. Well, that fool forgot one thing. I may not be able to kill this boy, but I can take something away from him. Red chakra began to swirl around the naked and crying form of the infant. It wrapped around the kid's fragile body and seemed to seep inside of his body. The infant's crying grew even louder. It was like the boy was in pain. A cruel thing to do to a newborn. Kyuubi was truly an evil being, perhaps its essence. The huge fox let out an evil laugh at the infant's cries in pain. He was enjoying an infant's cry. Cry, cry all you want, child, for it shall make no difference. The demonic fox let out another one of his deeply baritone laughs at the child. Yondaime, I may not be able to kill your son, but I can take a part of him away. The crimson chakras surround the baby fully seeped into his skin, and something changed. Blonde baby boy seemed to shrink a bit, then his crying subsided, the child was then silent. Have a nice life, Naruto. The fox then started to laugh his demonic laugh again. Whatever he did to Naruto was sure to be something of the worst nature. It had to have been. 12 years later, hard glares, evil intentions, all pointed at him. The many assassination attempts made by the villagers that he usually escaped, narrowly escaped. Memories of the first time he met that bastard fox inside him and how lonely he was when he got home. Times when he would cry himself to sleep because he didn't have parents to read him a bedtime story and help him sleep. Why was it all happening to him? Why? That was the thing, he didn't know why he had no parents. Why people tried to kill him. Why every time he walked down the streets the villagers would look at him with that intense hate that he was so used to. He guessed he was just born that way and destined to stay like that. A freak of the world. Although he wouldn't have been so angry if he just knew why it was happening to him. Why any of it was. Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki, pay attention. Naruto's eyes popped open. He raised his head to figure where he was. He looked around sleepily and observed his surroundings. Chalkboard, kids his age. Iruka-sensei. The classroom. Naruto, if you don't pay attention you'll never become a ninja. The voice of his sensei and surrogate brother rang through his head, waking him up completely. Iruka had been one of the few people who actually cared for him, whose eyes didn't stare harshly. He was always kind to him, therefore Naruto considered him to be a sort of older brother of sorts. Naruto then heard another voice from across the room. Does it even matter, Iruka-sensei? We all know Naruto's not going to become a real ninja anyway. The whole class erupted into laughter at Naruto, pointing in mocking fashions. He looked down in shame. It really wasn't the fact that everyone was laughing at him, it was the person who said that really got to him. Haruno Sakura, top of the class when it came to Kunoichi and the current subject of his affection. He knew he had no chance, but he still tried. He was a fighter. Why, yeah, I will. Just you watch, I'm going to become the Hokage and I'll show you all. Barely restrained laughter could be heard due to Naruto's comment. Some random kid decided to speak out and further embarrass Naruto. Yeah right, Naruto, you can't even do a basic henge, let alone become Hokage. Once again the class erupted in laughter. Naruto gritted his teeth. Settle down, Iruka yelled, bringing all the laughter to a stop, and all eyes were on him. It seemed like every time he yelled everyone stopped what they were doing. Geez, now class 1 have to cut class early, I have an urgent assignment, so class dismissed. Remember, practice your techniques for the graduation final tomorrow. Naruto got up out of his seat and began to walk out the door with the rest of the class. Naruto, can I speak with you? Naruto paid him no mind and walked out. Naruto didn't need to talk with Iruka right now, he needed to be away from everyone. A place where he could think, that's one thing a lot of people didn't know about Naruto Uzumaki, he liked to think. On the outside he was a loud, rash, weak little failure, on the inside he was much different. The Hokage faces, his getaway from reality. His sanctuary and the closest place he could find to get some peace and quiet. Naruto walked outside the academy and immediately headed for the Hokage faces. In approximately 5 minutes he was there, sitting on the top of the Yondaime's head. He sat at the edge looking down on all of Konoha. He then closed his eyes. Kyuubi, you there? Naruto could hear the faint sound of a fox's chuckle. Of course you twit. I'm always here, I'm inside, you remember? Shut up, you stupid fox. What do you want? I'm trying to sleep here. Naruto let out a sigh. I just wanted to talk. What, that's not allowed in my own head. Talking to yourself is a bad habit, Naruto, but that isn't the real reason why you're talking to me, is it? No, that is the reason why, I just wanted. Naruto could hear the loud chuckle of the Kyuubi inside his head. He let out another mental sigh. You want to know why you're so weak, don't you? Never mind, I don't want to talk. Then I will. An intense pain went through Naruto's body. Red chakra surrounded him. The rock monument depicting the Yondaime's head began to crumble away beneath him. The chakra shot out of Naruto's stomach and began to float in the air in front of Naruto. What the hell is this? Ah! The pain grew even more as the huge mass of chakra began to take the form of a giant fox's head. The chakra distorted and fur sprang out of it. In less than 10 seconds there was a huge fox's head in front of Naruto. More chakra pumped out of Naruto's body and collided with the furry fox's head, filling in the sockets and taking the form of eyeballs. The head of the Kyuubi was fully formed and it looked at Naruto with rage. What the hell? How did that damn fox get out of me? Naruto thought. Naruto, come here, I have something to give back to you. Stand up. On command, Naruto stood up and looked the fox dead in the eye. If this was Naruto's first time meeting Kyuubi, then he would have probably wet his pants by now. Come here. Just like before, Naruto walked carefully to the Kyuubi, being careful not to make the fragile rock underneath him crumble away. In 5 steps he was right in front of the floating head of Kyuubi. Naruto, you are useful to my plans, and if you are to carry out what it is that I intend for you to do, then you must become a true ninja, and in order to do that I must give it back. Give what back? What the hell are you talking about? What did you take away from me anyway? Kyuubi gave a low demonic chuckle. He looked at Naruto with those red-slitted pupils that struck immediate fear into the hearts of every person in Konoha who knew of them. Naruto, let me just tell you, I will get out and find my body, but for now I need you to grow, so I will give back your true self. Red chakra enveloped Naruto's body, covering him completely and making the surface beneath him crumble away, but Naruto did not fall, he just floated. Kyuubi, what is this shit? You can't, A spike of pain rang through Naruto's body. It hurt badly, but to Naruto it seemed familiar, almost as if he had felt before. Naruto forced himself to speak between the unbearable pulses of pain going through his body. He pried his mouth open and spoke through the veil of nearly crimson chakra around him. Kyuubi. What do you mean by my true self? What is there about me that I don't know? Naruto's breathing suddenly returned to normal. For some reason the intense pain he had felt moments ago suddenly turned into warmth. Naruto's eyes twitched at the feeling, it made his body shudder. That didn't go unnoticed by Kyuubi. You feel it, don't you, Naruto? The feeling of that empty space being filled in, this is the part of you that makes your true self. The invigorating feeling spread through Naruto's body. All traces of pain were gone. Naruto raised his head and looked Kyuubi in the eye, something he was never fond of doing, but now he didn't care, he wasn't afraid, not anymore. It felt as if something had changed within his mind, this overwhelming confidence that invaded his head and usurped all traces of fear from their position as the dominant emotion in his conscience. Was this his true self, his immaturity replaced by this sense of confidence and arrogance? It might have been, but whatever it was, it felt good. Kyuubi chuckled again at Naruto's confidence. He sensed that Naruto was becoming what he was supposed to be. This is what I took from you, Naruto, your potential, your original mindset, and all of your original traits. Now that you are to become a ninja, I am giving it back. Don't ask why I did it or why I am doing this, just accept it or I'll take it back. Okay, so what do I do then? What now? Kyuubi let out a big sigh. I have given back all there is to give. You have changed back, so all there is for you to do now is wake up. What, but I'm already. His eyes then opened again, staring at his apartment ceiling. Awake. Naruto rubbed his head, not even bothering to get out of his bed. It was a dream? But it felt so real. Naruto sat up and placed his feet on the floor. His eyes went wide in shock. His room was a mess. He seriously needed to do some redecorating, but that would have to wait for later. If his memory served, today was the day he was supposed to become a ninja. He stood up and rubbed the sleepiness out of his eyes. Damn that Kyuubi invading my dreams. Why couldn't he have revealed himself to me 20 years from now or something, stupid fox. He walked to his bathroom and closed the door, turned on the faucet and washed his face. When he brought his face back up to the mirror, he jumped back in shock and let out a large yell. It was probably a yell so loud that it could be heard throughout the entire village. My eyes, what the hell happened to my eyes? His eyes had made the transition from his normal sapphire blue to a lighter bluish purple. The weird part was the tiny burst of light orange that seemed to emanate from his pupils. They were basically baby blue with an orange tint coming from the middle. So it wasn't a dream after all. Kyuubi really did visit me. Naruto washed more water onto his face. Even though the shock Naruto got was great, it only lasted for a couple of seconds. After he saw his eyes, he wasn't all that surprised. It only lasted for about 5 minutes. Naruto actually thought that his eyes felt normal. They didn't feel weird, they just looked weird. Kyuubi, not that I'm complaining, but what exactly did you do to my eyes? He delved through his mental link and found the demon fox. I already told you, I've given you your true self back, don't you feel it? Naruto shook his head. You will, Naruto. But why are you giving this back to me? You want to kill me, right? Exactly right, but in order for me to get out and kill you in this village, you must become a ninja first. Don't worry, this will all come together soon. That goes for you readers too. But by then there is nothing you will be able to do about it, so live your life to the fullest right now, while it lasts. With that, Kyuubi cut off their mental link. Naruto looked down in grief for a few seconds, it then sprung up with renewed vigor. Kyuubi, that's impossible. You yourself told me that it is impossible for you to get out. Dumb fox. Trying to scare me, even if I become a ninja, which I will. There is nothing you can do to get out of me. Kyuubi really did change Naruto, except he just didn't know it. The old Naruto would have hated the fact that the Kyuubi no Kitsune was inside him and couldn't get out, but now he looked at the atrocious concept with a hint of optimism. He saw it more like he was the person chosen to defend the village from his curse. If this was how Naruto was originally intended to turn out, then he liked it. Naruto walked over to his closet and jumped back with disgust. What he saw was a metaphorical battlefield of orange, blue and white. His millions of jumpsuits. They were once sacred to him. Now they were the most wretched things in the world. Damn, I can't believe that I actually like to wear this crap. Oh well, I'm going to find something else to wear. Naruto frantically started to search through his mountain of former attire. He searched for a few moments until he found a box. Got it. He opened it and found a matching set of black training pants and a tight short-sleeved black jacket used for training. The jacket looked like it came down past one's hips and it could be zipped up. Thank you, Oiji-san. He is referring to the third Hokage. If there was ever a better time for that matching training set Naruto got last year from the third Hokage. Wait, there was no better time for it. Naruto ran back into the bathroom and took his bath, determined to earn his Hite. Haruno Sakura hated walking to the academy every day like this. She would get up, admire herself in the mirror, wash up, admire some more, dress up, then admire some more. To her that part was okay, but what really got to her was the fact that every morning she would run into her former best friend and all-out rival in love, Yamanaka Ino. Sakura walked down the street timing her blonde competitor's arrival. 3, 2, 1. Right as Sakura was about to pass Ino's house, the blonde stepped out. Sakura let out a big sigh. Right on time, as usual. Man, why can't she be late for once? Sakura walked past Ino as she joined her on her walk to the academy. Both of them walking side by side as normal friends would. Then again, Sakura and Ino weren't exactly known as friends, more like arch-enemies. Getting annoyed by her counterpart's company, Sakura decided to put a little spring in her step and walk a little faster. That action was soon matched by Ino. Sakura and Ino both let out simultaneous grunts of annoyance at each other. Both put multiple bursts of speed and quickened their paces. In no time they were neck and neck with each other, practically racing down the street. This was the part that Sakura didn't like. She always ended up tired and sweaty. Two things that she hated to be and two things that being a ninja would call for. What are you doing, Ino pig? What do you mean what am I doing, forehead girl? Both of them were still neck and neck, faces pressed against each other with the big veins bulging out each of their foreheads. Some foreheads were bigger than others. Sakura, that bitch. As both girls sped down the street, both girls came to an abrupt stop when they saw a quick flash of yellow and black. They saw a boy with blonde hair, clad in all black, fly past their faces. He was moving noticeably faster than either of them could ever move. Both Sakura and Ino could have sworn they had seen this boy before. If he wasn't moving so fast they could properly look at his face. Wearing confused faces, both of them looked at each other at the same time. Was that Naruto? It felt great, the wind through his hair, his noticeably better vision, the way he could effortlessly jump 20 feet in the air at will. This was what he called an upgrade, a major upgrade. Naruto hopped rooftop to rooftop with amazing speed. The way he was moving, it way beyond Genin level, mid-Chunin perhaps. Naruto really didn't care, he just loved it. He could almost thank Kyuubi if he wasn't the reason for Naruto not having this type of speed in the first place. This was something he could get used to, he would have after all this was who he really is. He paid no mind to some of the villagers yelling at him. His goal was to get to the academy and obtain his Hittei Ite and become a full-fledged ninja. Damn, this feels good, this is what speed is like, huh? I fucking love this stuff. Naruto's excitement over his recent upgrade was positively through the roof, but the tone of his voice was positively everything but through the roof. It sounded cool and calm. The new Naruto. In a few minutes Naruto made his way to the Ninja Academy and was walking through the hall to get to his normal classroom. He got a little confused on the way there. Every single girl that he passed on the way to his class would either look away from his face, or giggle as they passed him. It actually started to annoy Naruto. He didn't know what the hell was going on. Was something funny about him? Naruto finally made it to his classroom. The door was open, so that saved him the nuisance of having everyone stare at him when he opened it. Even so, Naruto immediately regretted walking through that door. He had completely forgotten about his recent change in facial features. As soon as Naruto walked through the door, all eyes were on him. Most of them were of the females in the room, and most of the females had blushes on their faces. Naruto slowly walked into the classroom and looked around. He found the seat closest to the wall and away from everybody else. He made his way to his seat, that just so happened to be next to Sasuke, his rival and old-time friend. As soon as Naruto sat down, the room erupted in chatter once again. He could hear his name being repeated by multiple females over and over. They were probably wondering why he looked the way he did. I win. No, I win. Sakura and Ino came rushing in through the door. Their faces were still pressed together. Sparks flew as both girls traded glances, with the background changing from a normal hallway to a raging hellfire. Naruto sat at the edge of the classroom observing the usual scene that occurred every morning. He found it stupid in a lot of ways, but the real reason it was stupid was the subject of these daily arguments. Sasuke Uchiha, that arrogant, pretty boy, emo bastard. Naruto looked away from them and faced the window beside him. He needed some cover from his eyes. I was here first, so I get to sit by Sasuke. No, I do. I was obviously an inch ahead of you. You want to bet forehead, girl? Bring it, Ino pig. Their senseless bickering attracted even more girls into the argument. Hold on, I was here before both of you, so I get to sit by Sasuke. Soon almost every female in the room was arguing about who got to sit next to over there. Naruto continued to look out his window. TCH, fangirls, they're all the same. The room got suddenly quiet. Everybody looked at the one brave soul that dared to insult Sasuke's fangirls. What was that just now? Sakura said with an evil tone. The gang of fangirls looked in Naruto's direction. Who is that over there? You seem familiar. What's wrong, Sakura-chan? You don't recognize me? You should. I'm made fun of on a regular basis. What? Sakura looked at rest of the fangirls, hoping for an answer. They all shook their heads when she asked them if they knew who Naruto was. Naruto, on the other hand, kept his gaze out the window, hiding his face from view. A small smirk made its way onto his lips. Oh, come on, Sakura-chan, you know who I am. No, I don't, so stop acting all cool and tell me who the hell you are. I'm not acting, Sakura-chan, believe it. Sakura's eyes went wide along with the rest of the girls. Some of them had suspicions that it was Naruto before, but none of them actually believed it was him. Well, they did now. Just as Naruto said, they believed it. And Naruto, is that you? All he gave them was a quick nod for a response. Suddenly there were two puffs of smoke that appeared in the middle of the room. The smoke cleared, revealing two men, Iruka Amino and his assistant Mizuki. I don't really care for his last name. Settle down. Just like in Naruto's dream, the whole class was silent. Even in reality, Iruka's voice could get a room silent on the first try. Okay, now all of you take your seats and let's begin. Mizuki made a ram seal, and behind him and Iruka a desk with several Hitteites appeared via smoke cloud. Behind me and Iruka-sensei are your goals. These headbands will be what you need to obtain to become genin. You get one of these and you pass. Iruka took his turn once again by chiming in. You will all be asked to do 3 things. You'll have to show us your marksmanship with kunai, do a basic henge of my choice, and finally we will ask you to use the Bunshin no Jutsu successfully. There are conditions though. You have to hit a bullseye at least once, the henges of my choice, and you have to make at least 3 clones. We going to start in alphabetical order, good luck. Then it began. Students were called one by one to show their skill. Some were better than others by Naruto's point of view. Naruto continued to stare out the window while waiting for his name to be called. He wondered how he would do. Even though Kyuubi gave him his true self, he was never any good at this sort of thing. Hell, the only jutsu he could do so far was the jutsu, and he knew that Iruka wouldn't let him use that. 5 minutes had passed and Naruto started to get a little nervous, 1 because he had to go up in front of everybody and show his recent changes, and 2 because he never knew how to do it in the first place. Uchiha Sasuke, please come up. Sasuke got up and walked over to Iruka. Okay, you already know the first part of this exam. Hit that training dummy over there at least once in the bull's eye. Sasuke sighed and looked over to the corner of the room where the dummy was. He sighed and with one quick motion took a kunai out of his holster and flicked it toward the dummy, hitting it dead center on the bull's eye. Good, very good, and on the first try too. Sasuke's horde of fangirls all squealed in admiration of the raven-haired crush. Settle down now. Okay, now for the henge. I want you to transform yourself into me. Sasuke sighed again and did a hand sign. Transform. A huge cloud of smoke appeared around Sasuke, and when it cleared there stood 2 Irukas. Another squeal from the fangirls was heard. Okay, now the final part of the test. Sasuke made another hand sign and in 2 seconds there were 4 Sasukes. Great, you pass. Go get your Hite Ite from Mizuki-sensei. Sasuke walked past Iruka and took his headband. He looked at it for a couple seconds, then tied it on his forehead while he made his way back to his seat next to Naruto. Naruto could hear the various giggles being made by the girls in the classroom. Sasuke glanced at Naruto before fully taking his seat. Uzumaki Naruto. Come up and no funny business, okay? Naruto stood up and walked over to Iruka. Oh no Iruka-sensei, those days are over, I've changed. I can see. Got tired of orange, huh? Naruto chuckled. Naruto, I always thought that your eyes were just blue, I must be getting old. You know what to do. Naruto looked in the direction of the dummy, which no longer had Sasuke's kunai lodged in it. He steeled himself and took out a kunai. Okay Kyuubi, let's see who I really am. He threw his kunai with unexpected force and it flew straight at the dummy, lodging itself deeper in than Sasuke's had, almost going through it. The whole room instantly was filled with whispers and gasps of shock. Well done Naruto. Okay, now for the henge. Transform yourself into our Hokage. Naruto made a hand sign. Transform. Naruto said in a calm tone. Soon, in place of Naruto stood the 3rd Hokage, in full robes. Everyone in the room was wide-eyed. The fact that Naruto could do a jutsu so easily that most of them had trouble doing was very surprising. More whispers came from the classroom. Outstanding Naruto. Let's see if you can get this one down. I want you to make at least 3 clones using the Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto did the proper hand sing. This was the moment of truth. Everyone was looking at him. If he messed up on this jutsu he would be forced to uphold his reputation as Naruto, the knuckled-headed loser who can't even make a clone. Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto poured in a large amount of chakra into this jutsu. His chakra flared and in a huge plume of smoke there were 10 Narutos standing in the front of the room. Everyone in the room gasped. Naruto looked around thinking that he had messed up. When he saw 9 other Narutos he was relieved. Amazing, simply amazing Naruto, go on and get your Hite Ote, you deserve it. The small murmurs and whispers increased even more. Whoa, since when was Naruto able to do that? Those clothes make him look kind of cool. Naruto savored these comments, they were never for him before. He grabbed his Hite Ite and walked back to his seat next to Sasuke, but before sitting down he gave Sasuke the same glance that Sasuke had given him a few moments ago. Well, I guess that concludes the exam. All of you pass, congratulations. The whole class let out a loud yell of victory, well except Naruto and Sasuke. Okay, now that you've all passed you may have a lunch break. Dismissed. Make sure you come back though, this isn't over. Naruto stood up and walked out of the classroom with Sasuke followed shortly behind. Everyone watched as the lone Uchiha and the new cooler Uzumaki walked out followed by a gang of fangirls. Naruto had forgotten to eat breakfast and he didn't even bring something edible with him. He was so pumped up at the thought of getting his headband, which was now currently tied loosely around his neck, that he had forgotten to eat. Thoughts of what had transpired earlier ran through Naruto's head, that feeling of power that he never once had before, the amount of chakra that flowed through him when he used the Bunshin no Jutsu. That was real power, and it was his power. Naruto needed to find a good place to just think, since he had no food with him for lunch. He had the perfect place in mind. That old tree with the swing in the front of the academy, it was another one of his sanctuaries. In less than 5 minutes Naruto was at his own little abode of solitude. He jumped onto a branch sprawling out on it. Man, that was the best. I didn't even know I had that much power. Naruto brought his hand in front of his face and stared at it. I looked so cool back there. Right, Naruto, you looked cool. Kyuubi said in a very sarcastic way that Naruto didn't miss. Shut up, Kyuubi. By the way, how is it that I have this much power? Did you do something? No, you idiot, I already told you this is all your power. When you were a baby I infused your infant body with a minuscule amount of my chakra. In doing this I sealed away part of your chakra reserves, making you virtually weaker. I thought that if you were so weak you would die easier and I could get out. Unfortunately for me, if you die I die. I needed to come up with another way, and if you died too early I might not have enough time to figure out a way out, so I unsealed that part of you. Okay, I get that, but why is it that I have this much chakra? Naruto, do you remember that feeling you got every time you trained? The feeling that you weren't getting any stronger? Naruto gave Kyuubi a mental nod. Well, you were, it's just that every time you got stronger your new chakra would form in the part of you that was sealed away and kept growing with the rest of your body. And on top of that you were, excluding my chakra, you were born with extremely large chakra reserves, so all of that chakra came together. Naruto stayed silent for a few seconds, he then responded. So the reason I never got any stronger was because of you. Kyuubi, you suck. Naruto heard the faint sound of Kyuubi's chuckle as it faded away and resided back into the depths on his conscience. The next sound Naruto heard was a voice from below, not Kyuubi's though, this voice was human. Hey Dobi, stop talking to yourself in that tree and get down here. Naruto glanced, recognized the voice, and he didn't really feel like hearing it right now. Naruto stayed in his slouched position on the branch and answered the voice back with a loud sigh. What, Teme, what do you want? I want to ask you something, so get down here. Why don't you come up here and ask me? Naruto then heard the voices of females. Those voices didn't sound too happy either. Naruto, Sasuke-kun wants to ask you something. You should be glad that he's even talking to you, so get down here now. This female voice was accompanied by others, all wanting to get Naruto from the tree. Not wanting to cause a further ruckus, Naruto slid off the branch and landed right in front of Sasuke. He looked him straight in the eye. Sasuke's eyes widened when he caught a glimpse of Naruto's new upgrade. What the hell is wrong with your eyes, weren't they always just blue? Naruto glared at Sasuke and Sasuke returned his glare. No, they were always like this, you just didn't look hard enough. Hey, don't you glare at Sasuke-kun like that. Once again Sakura opened her mouth from the sidelines to defend her crush. Naruto took his glare away from Sasuke and directed it at Sakura. He was pleased when he saw her gasp and back away from him, only to shrink into the back of the mob of fangirls. Her gasp wasn't the only one to be heard. It seemed like as soon as Naruto glanced toward their direction, Sasuke's faithful fangirls suddenly got quiet. With a smile, Naruto brought his glare back to Sasuke, making him flinch a little as well. So, what do you care about eyes for anyway? What are you, gay? Sasuke's expression got really tense at Naruto's rude comment, not to mention the fact that his cheerleaders were basically set on fire when they heard it. With the blushes and the yelling, and the, oh yeah, know what I mean. No Bill Cosby reenactment intended there. Hey, you want to fight Naruto? Just because you passed the test doesn't mean that you're better than me. I can still kick your loser ass. Alright, let's go then. I show you who's the real loser, you and your pathetic cheerleading squad over there. Naruto said while pointing to Sasuke's fangirls. He gave them one last glare just to spook them all. Naruto. Sasuke threw a wild right hook. Naruto dodged quite easily. It was almost like his fist was moving in slow motion. He shrunk back and delivered a strong punch to Sasuke's gut, sending him stumbling backwards. Sasuke charged once again, throwing out a flurry of precise punches. Naruto did no better but to dodge them, all except the last one, which caught Naruto in the face, sending him flying into the tree he had once rested on. Teme, is that all you got? Sasuke got angry again and charged Naruto again. He jumped up and came down with a hard vertical kick. I can see it, Naruto thought to himself. In a second Sasuke was right above him. Naruto saw everything clearly. You're so slow, Teme. Naruto caught Sasuke's leg with one hand. He then slammed him into the tree behind him with all his might. He then flung Sasuke 10 feet away from him, putting him in a temporary daze. Sasuke tried to get up but was pushed back down by Naruto's foot on his back. Hey Teme, just because I seemed weak before doesn't mean that I am. Sasuke turned just far enough to look at Naruto, who had already began to walk away. Oh yeah, I looked so cool, that should teach that bastard a lesson. Naruto thought to himself as he began to walk back into the academy. Naruto, don't you dare underestimate me. Sasuke charged at Naruto for the final time, hoping to catch him off guard, a very desperate move indeed. I just overestimated you. Naruto spun around and plowed his fist directly into Sasuke's face, making him thrust backwards into that same tree. Naruto gave one final huff before walking back inside the academy. He could hear the screams of worry and fear coming from the girls as they all rushed the wounds of their raven-haired lover boy. Let's see, who's missing? Oh, Uchiha Sasuke. Does anyone know where Sasuke is? Right here. Sasuke walked through the doors of the classroom, limping and bruised. He was followed in by his loyal fangirls who all had empathetic looks on their faces. Right on time, Sa. Hey, what happened to your face? Sasuke glanced toward the direction of a certain blonde for a second and turned his gaze back on Iruka. Nothing, Iruka-sensei. I fell. Almost everyone in the class face faulted at this, well except for Naruto. Okay, I know that's not what happened, but still, take your seat, I want to finish this. Sasuke took a seat at the far corner of the room, the complete opposite of Naruto's seat. His followers also took their original seats, but not before giving Naruto their own glares. Alright. We were going to do this tomorrow, but something has come up. So instead of tomorrow, you will be meeting your new senseis today. New sensei? The whole class screamed out, exempt a few people. Yep, now that you're all genin, I'm no longer your instructor. Iruka laughed and scratched the back of his head in a very pre-upgrade Naruto way. Well, I'll begin with the names of the teams selected. Team 7. Haruno Sakura. Uchiha Sasuke. Sakura jumped up in joy, letting out a loud, yes, to taunt the other girls in the class who had the misfortune on not being on Sasuke's team. And Uzumaki Naruto. Your Junin instructor is Hitake Kakashi. Sakura's eyes cracked wide open, her head slouched down in disappointment. No, why'd I have to be with him? She said in a defeated tone. Naruto just sighed and Sasuke just brooded. Okay, sit down, Sakura. Team 8. Hyuga Hinata. Aburame Shino and Inazuka Kiba. Your Junin instructor is Yuhi Kurenai. Team 10. Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akamichi Choji. Your Junin is Sarutobi Asuma. Now those three teams report to the classroom next door to meet your instructors. Naruto stood up and walked out of the room before anyone else, eager to meet his new instructor. Iruka then continued to name the teams. Where the hell is he? Everyone else got to meet their instructor by now. What about us? We're sitting in a stupid classroom all by our lonesome. Sakura paced back and forth as she ranted on and on about how their instructor was so late. Naruto had to agree with her, it was really annoying, but then again so was she. Actually, Naruto didn't know why he thought of Sakura as annoying. Before his recent changes, his thoughts about Sakura were anything but annoying. He was practically in love with her, but now he just didn't feel it anymore. Her loud and abusive ways that Naruto thought made her look hot, now made her look like a real bitch. Guess he did know after all. Naruto got up and walked over by the window. Sakura noticed this and stopped her ranting. She wasn't going to miss this chance. Somehow Naruto had gotten stronger and cooler in her eyes. This was the perfect chance to ask him what happened. Sakura trotted up to Naruto's side. She knew of his crush on her, and if she would have to use that to find out, then she would. Naruto-kun, how come you? Naruto-kun? Since when am I Naruto-kun? No, I just wanted to ask how you got so strong and what's with the cool clothes. Sakura-chan, I figured out who I was. Naruto said monotonously. Wah. What does that mean? Probably nothing. Naruto turned around and gave her a glare, making her jump back again. HMPHED, and turned around. Well, since you guys are the only one here, I guess you're mine. All three genin turned to face the adult voice. They saw a silver-haired, one-eyed man standing at the door. He wore a mask that only covered his mouth and nose, and his hite ite was slung over his left eye, covering it completely. He wore a standard Junin vest, signifying his rank. Meet me on the roof in 5 minutes. With that, the Cyclopean Junin poofed out of the room. Who was that guy? Sakura said. Isn't it obvious, he's our new sensei? Naruto said as he walked past her. He was soon followed by Sasuke, and wherever Sasuke went, Sakura was sure to follow. 5 minutes later, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke all sat in front of their new sensei. They looked at him, perplexed by his weird appearance. Alright, first introductions. Tell me some things about you. You know what you like, what you hate, and your goals for the future, things like that. How about you demonstrate so we know what to do? Sakura said. Okay. My name is Hitaki Kakashi. I like a lot of things. I don't really hate a lot of things either, and as for future goals, I don't really feel like telling you that. Now you go. All we found out was your name. Yup, now you try Pinky. Okay, my name is Haruno Sakura. What I like. I mean who I like is. Sakura cut herself off with a series of giggles and glances at Sasuke. My goals for the future are. Again she cut herself off. Who I hate is Naruto. She gave him an angry glare. Naruto just shrugged his shoulders and flicked her off. Okay, you in the middle. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. What I want is revenge. I hate a lot of things, and my future goal is to gain power in hopes of killing a certain someone. Sakura stared at him with a look that said, he's so hot. Okay, you blondie, tell me about yourself. Naruto began. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, I like. Naruto paused for a moment. After his recent change, he really didn't know what it was that he liked anymore. To train. I hate people who treat others badly without knowledge of that person, and my goal is to gain enough power to show everyone in this village who I truly am. Kakashi scratched his chin. So if I'm correct, I got a fangirl, an avenger, and I don't know what to call you. You're sort of an enigma. Great. Anyway, it's time for your first assignment. Meet me on the training grounds tomorrow at daybreak. Come prepared with all your ninja gear, you'll need it. Oh, and tomorrow, don't eat breakfast or you might puke. With that, Kakashi poofed out of vision, leaving the three rookie genin to contemplate on what he meant. Naruto hopped through the treetops at breakneck speed, elegantly steeping from branch to branch as he pursued his target. He hoped that he would make it in time to stop his target. With one goal in mind, he charged forward. Damn him, acting all nice to us then betraying us without a moment's notice. How could he do that? And he stole the forbidden scroll of sealing too. Damn that Mizuki. I should have known he was a good-for-nothing traitor. Naruto had recently found out that Mizuki, Iruka's former assistant, had stolen the forbidden scroll of seal from the Konohajutsu archive. Naruto really wasn't supposed to find out about this, but he had been there when some random Junin had come crashing through the doors of the Sandame's office, announcing that Mizuki had just stolen the scroll of sealing. It was a possible chance for Naruto to further test his ability, so he jumped into action. That's how he ended up where he is now, hopping the trees at approximately 11 o'clock at night while searching for that son of a bitch named Mizuki. Mizuki. Come to think of it, Naruto never really knew Mizuki's last name, and now he didn't care. As Naruto searched through the forest with enraged speed, he could hear something, but it wasn't outside, it was inside. He knew who it was. Naruto stopped on a large stable branch and rested for a while. What do you want, Kyuubi? Can't you see that I'm trying to find Mizuki? Oh, then I guess you don't want my help then, you twit. Naruto scoffed at the idea of getting help from a fox, even if it was a gigantic demon lord. What help are you going to give me? Kyuubi chuckled, that chuckle that always rattled the inside of Naruto's head. There we go. Now what I want to show is a basic technique. It is used by many hunter nin. All it is the minor application of chakra to enhance the body's senses. Go try it, pump a little chakra to your ears. Naruto did as he was told and sent a surge of chakra to his ears. He reeled back in an instant. The sudden enhancement of his hearing overwhelmed him. He nearly fell of the branch he was on. Everything just went from normal to like triple surround sound. I told you only little chakra was needed. Lessen up your flow. With that, Kyuubi's voice died out in Naruto's head. He lessened his chakra flow to his ears and suddenly the triple surround sound just became slightly amplified. With his newfound ability, Naruto concentrated and listened to the sounds around him. He heard the birds, the bugs, the wind blowing past his face, random animals that scurried on the ground below, but what caught his attention were the small explosive bursts that seemed to occur every 5 seconds. What is that? Metal hitting against metal. Kunai maybe, sounds like a battle is going on. Naruto stood up on the branch and set a course for the location of the battle. Naruto once again started traveling with the pace he was going at once before. After 5 minutes of fast-paced tree hopping, the sounds grew louder. He was definitely sure that there was a fight going on, and by what he could hear there were only 2 people fighting. One of them had to be Mizuki, the other he wasn't too sure of. Damn, where the hell is that bastard? Wait, what the hell? Naruto saw 2 men. One of them was on a tree branch with a scroll in his hand, Mizuki. The other one was on the forest floor and he was bloody. Naruto's eyes widened when he realized who his was. His former teacher and surrogate father Iruka Amino. Give it up, Iruka, you can't beat me, I'm stronger than you. I'm going to take this scroll. Mizuki gave a sinister chuckle that sent a chill through Iruka's heavily damaged spine, which currently had a Fuma shuriken sticking out of it. Why Mizuki, why are you doing this? Betraying Konoha will only come back to hurt you in the end. Iruka, how stupid can you be? Do you really think that I give a rat's ass about this village? There's only one thing that I want in this world, and that is power, and there's no here right who can stop me from attaining it. You mind saying that again? Mizuki's neck hair stood on end. That voice just came out of nowhere and scared the crap out of him. He was confused as to who the hell it was. Who said that? Mizuki continued to look around for any signs of the unknown voice, but whoever it was, they sounded like a kid. Show yourself, Mizuki commanded. Fine. Mizuki could only duck as he sensed 2 kunai being thrown from behind. He narrowly escaped the attack as he could feel the cold metal of a kunai brush his head, cutting a little hair in the process. If you want me, you got me, Mizuki-sensei. Mizuki turned and was face to face with a familiar blonde, but what he wasn't familiar with was his fist hitting his face. Naruto delivered a full power punch to Mizuki's face, sending him flying, but before he could finish his diagonal descent, Naruto grabbed the last of Mizuki's Fuma shuriken from his back and with a vertical thrust, threw the giant weapon at Mizuki, pinning him to a tree trunk below. Naruto-kun, what are you doing here? Said a badly damaged Iruka. Naruto jumped down from the branch and landed in front of Iruka. He was currently holding the scroll Mizuki was holding before he decked him. Isn't it obvious I'm here to stop Mizuki and to help you? But how did you? Element of surprise, Iruka-sensei, that's how I beat him so easily. Iruka-sensei looked at Naruto with pride. He was proud of how much the boy had grown. He was even able to take on a Chunin with no problem at all. Naruto looked in the direction that Mizuki was. He walked over to the currently immobilized Chunin and looked him dead in the eye. His head swayed limply and Naruto saw no movement in him. He presumed that he was dead. Naruto turned to walk back over to Iruka but was stopped when he felt a hand grab the back of his jacket. You son of a bitch, I'll kill you. Naruto turned his head to find Mizuki's arm clinging onto his jacket. HMPH, you still alive? I thought you were dead. Mizuki growled and coughed up some blood mid-growl. His grip loosened, allowing Naruto to smack his hand away from his new clothes. Don't touch, these are new. Mizuki snarled through clenched teeth. Curse you, demon. That was the breaking point. Naruto instantly grew angry at the word demon. He had heard it so many times in his life and he was tired of that shit. Naruto decided that he was going to toy with the traitor for a while, play dumb. Demon. Did you just call me a demon? Mizuki spit up another round of blood. That's right, you little brat, you're a demon. Naruto could hear Iruka's breathing grow heavy in the background, what he had anticipated. Mizuki, no, he's too young for that. Iruka yelled. Shut up, you fool, I don't care. Naruto, do you know the reason you were always looked upon with hate? Naruto kept his innocent boy charade and slowly shook his head no. Do you remember the 9-tailed fox that attacked Konoha 12 years ago? Naruto shook his head yes. Well Naruto, the reason everybody hates you is because. No Mizuki, don't do it. The Kyuubi no Kitsune was sealed inside of you. Naruto faked a shocked expression and began to shrink back. How's it feel, Naruto, to know that the most hated natural being is inside of you? Mizuki wore a psychotic smile of satisfaction, but it soon faded away when he saw Naruto smile. He heard the young genin start to snicker. What the hell is so funny? You're a demon and you think that's funny. Naruto hung his head down, his eyes covered by his unruly bushy-called hair. How stupid do you think I am, Mizuki-sensei? I'm not the same oblivious boy that I was before, I never was. Naruto raised his head and looked Mizuki straight in the eye. That's old news, Mizuki. Guess what? I've known about the fox since I was 6 years old. Actually, I don't really mind him residing within me, as long as he doesn't try anything that is. Not a chance, Naruto. Shut up, Kyuubi. Naruto saw the expression on Mizuki's face, simply priceless. He saw Iruka's expression, it was almost as rich as Mizuki's. Naruto-kun, how did you know? Iruka asked in a shocked tone. Well, let's just say that the minds of the innocent wonder way too much. Naruto said with a smile. His smile faded as he turned back to Mizuki. Now, is there anything else you want to say, Mizuki? Mizuki just growled in defeat. Damn you, you demon br. Mizuki passed out when Naruto gave him a solid jab to the gut, being careful not to stab his hand on the Fuma shuriken protruding from his stomach. You're the real demon here, Mizuki. An Oni only betrays his kind. Naruto walked away from Mizuki and went to Iruka's aid. Naruto-kun, how did you get so strong? Training, I guess. An obvious lie on his part, but not so much a lie that it wasn't true. Iruka-sensei, can I ask a favor of you? Iruka gave him a weak nod. Good, Iruka, can you not tell anyone of this little episode we had here? If they ask what happened, just tell them that you beat Mizuki, but if they ask for the scroll, tell them that you gave it to a Junin to return back to the archives and he said he would send for help. Iruka raised his eyebrow in confusion. Why would they ask about the scroll? Wouldn't I have it with? Iruka stopped when he saw Naruto pick up the scroll of sealing. Wait, what are you doing with that scroll, Naruto-kun? I knew I could trust you, Iruka-sensei. Naruto said as he jumped onto a high branch. Remember, I was never here. With that, Naruto jumped away, heading towards who knows where. As he jumped through the treetops, he began to think to himself. I know what I'm doing is wrong, but if I'm going to get any stronger, I will need this for a couple hours. Besides, I don't even have any good jutsu sleeve. Naruto unraveled the scroll in front of him while tree hopping and began to search for any useful jutsu he could find. What's this? Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, this could be a long night. Sarutobi stared with pride at his crystal ball. The young genin who he had just seen take down Mizuki made him smile contently. It made him so proud that he didn't even seem to care that the young boy was looking at a scroll filled up with techniques that were Chunin level at the least. Naruto, you have done well, very well indeed. Sarutobi waved his hand over the crystal ball twice and the sight of Naruto jumping through the trees while reading the scroll faded away. The old Hokage then walked away. Naruto woke up with a reluctant groan. He rubbed his eyes and yawned. He looked at his surroundings. What he expected to see was his bedroom ceiling. What he did see were the trees and the sky. Birds flew above and bugs all over the place. He leaned over to his left, but his eyes widened when he felt nothing underneath his left shoulder holding him up. He slipped and careened down to the floor. He hit the soft forest soil with a dull thump. OWWW. Oh Kami, damn it. Naruto got up, now in a bad mood from falling off a branch 3 feet in the air. He stood up while rubbing his sore left shoulder. Damn, this is going to hurt for a while. Naruto looked up at the canopy for a few seconds and took in a deep breath. He closed his eyes. They snapped back open immediately. Oh crap, that's right. The training grounds, I was supposed to be there at daybreak. Naruto looked up at the sky. He presumed that it was around 8:50 judging by the sun's position. I'm going to be late, damn. Naruto hopped back on the same branch he fell off of, put his foot on the tree trunk and began to walk up the tree. I bet you didn't know that Naruto could do that. What did you think he was doing in the woods with that scroll? Naruto spent most of the night learning new jutsu from the scroll of sealing. Tree climbing was just another skill that came with it. Come to think of it, where was the damned scroll? Naruto really didn't care. Naruto walked to the top of the tree, which just so happened to be taller than all the others, and looked around. After a few seconds of searching, he found the big green patch of land that was the training grounds. Wow, that scroll really helped. Without it, I wouldn't even know how to do this handy tree climbing crap. Naruto jumped off the treetop and onto a lower branch. He then began hopping from branch to branch in the direction of the training grounds. Hey Kyuubi, why didn't you wake me up? Well, you were up all night learning jutsu from T-Hat, stupid scroll. What the hell do you think I'm here for? An alarm clock, which you obviously can't be. Shut up, you're lucky I can't come out there and kill you. Naruto's body seemed to go on autopilot. He was still tree hopping, but his attention was brought fully on Kyuubi. Kyuubi, I have a question to ask. How is it that I'm able to learn all this stuff so easily? I mean, I learned those techniques in the scroll overnight like it was nothing. Naruto paused and waited for Kyuubi to respond. Naruto, I told you that when you were an infant I sealed away your part of your chakra, the unnaturally large amount of chakra you were born with. As you put your body through extreme training to increase your strength, the seal I gave you took some of that power away. That's why you didn't see any results. While you grew, the restrictions of your seal grew as well. Plus, the fact of the seal putting so many restrictions on your body was so great that your body naturally adjusted to the hindrances of the seal. Your chakra did the same as well. As it grew with your body, it was being stressed to a point that your chakra control didn't show up past what you originally had. With both your body and chakra adjusting to the restrictions of the seal, you yourself gained a way to chakra control. Since your body was way too used to constantly adjusting to the seal, things such as controlling your chakra after I took the seal off became virtually effortless to you. So something like learning how to tree climb would only take an hour or two. If you keep training, the seal will eventually fully go away. Damn, so basically what you said is that I was born awesome, and when you put the seal on me my awesome body worked around it, making my body and chakra even more awesome than they already were? Naruto mentally chuckled when he didn't hear Kyuubi's response. Naruto took his body off of autopilot and resumed control. He noticed that he had just come out of the forest and onto the training grounds. He sighed from the relief of not having to jump through all those branches. He looked over to a large tree in the middle of the grounds and noticed that his team was under it. He thought that it would be funny to trick them. With his crazy speed he made a break for the tree, and without so much as a sound he jumped into the tree and landed in a branch a little bit above Sasuke's head. Am I too late? Sasuke jumped up and away from the tree he was under. He looked completely freaked out, like he had just seen a ghost. What the hell was that? Who's in that tree? Naruto fell backwards and hung upside down from the branch he was on. Don't you recognize my voice, Sasuke? Naruto? Sakura, who was behind Sasuke and looked equally as freaked out, frowned at Naruto. Naruto, don't you go scaring people like that. You almost scared Sasuke to death. Naruto? I thought I was Naruto-kun yesterday. Sakura's facial expression went from angry to ashamed in seconds. She remembered how she tried to sweet-talk Naruto into telling her about his changes the day before. Never mind, Sakura said in a low tone. Naruto turned his attention once again to Sasuke, who had walked right up to his face and was currently a few inches apart from. Sasuke's eyes narrowed in anger. What the hell is your problem, Naruto? You're becoming really annoying, you know. Naruto stared Sasuke right back in the face. What's my problem? What the hell is your problem? Then Naruto remembered something. Oh, I see you're still mad about losing to me. Naruto said arrogantly, causing Sasuke to growl and grab Naruto by his jacket collar out of anger. That was luck, Naruto. Next time we fight I'm going to kick your ass. Oh, and is that a promise, Sasuke? 'Cause I can show you right here and right now whose ass is going to get kicked. Or do you prefer to fight in private now? You know I don't want you to look bad in front of your fangirl over there. Naruto said while throwing a quick glance at Sakura, making her flinch. Naruto. Sasuke's voice had now elevated to the point of yelling. If you want to fight me again, then let's go right here, right now, Dobi. Huh, don't act like you can win, Teme. Naruto responded with an ever-stoic tone that made Sasuke's blood boil. Now let go of jacket, it's new. Naruto smacked Sasuke's hand away from his collar. That'll be enough from the both of you. Sasuke and Sakura jumped at the familiar voice. Naruto just stayed as he was. They all turned to face the man who spoke. Get down from that tree, Naruto, it's time to begin. What? Kakashi-sensei, when did you get here? And you're 4 hours late, by the way. Sakura's tone was nothing but happy. If there was one thing she hated more than Naruto, it was waiting, and now she couldn't stand Naruto. Oh, sorry I'm late. A black cat crossed my path, so I took the long way here. That's a terrible excuse, Kakashi. Anyway, today I told you to meet me here and be fully prepared for a battle. The reason I told you this is because I want to test you all. Kakashi-sensei, we already took the test to become genin, so what else is there to take? Sakura asked. Right, you are Sakura, but this is the real test on whether or not you guys become actual genin. If you failed this, you will be sent back to the academy. We'll have to do a whole year of the same thing just to get back to where you are now. Sakura's mouth gaped and Sasuke's eye twitched. Naruto dropped down from his tree and landed on his feet. So you're saying this test is a pass or fail? Exactly, Naruto, you get it. Now let me explain the gist of this test. Kakashi pulled out 2 bells. These bells are your goals. You're to get these bells away from me in the time allotted. You have until noon to get them. He then took out a book and, that seemed a little mature for someone of Naruto's age, and began to read. He reached into his pocket once more and pulled out a buzz timer, winded it and set it to ring at noon, then brought his attention back to his porn. He looked up from his trusty porn and said, "Oh, and one more thing. After I say begin, you better come at me with the intent to kill or you'll never pass this test, which only has a 30% chance of success." Kakashi then placed the timer in the ground. Begin. With that, Sasuke and Sakura jumped into the tree for cover. Naruto, on the other hand, stayed in his original position. Taking a Junin on alone. Do you really think that you can get these bells from me? No. Naruto stood for a second, and a second later Naruto took out a kunai and flung it at Kakashi, which he caught with ease. But it doesn't hurt to try. Naruto sped off to the left and came in at Kakashi. He fast. Even though Kakashi didn't have any trouble keeping up with Naruto's sudden movement, he had to admit the kid did catch him off guard. Naruto ran in and threw a punch Kakashi's way. He blocked it with one hand and used his other to defend his Ika Ika Paradise novel. Kakashi grabbed onto the blonde genin's fist and flung him up in the air. Naruto retorted with several spins into an axe kick from the sky. Kakashi grabbed his foot and flung him several feet away from him. Naruto, is that the best you can do? Kakashi teased. Naruto flipped and landed on his feet. I guess it's time to pull this one out. Naruto took out another kunai and tossed it at Kakashi, who caught it once again. This time Kakashi's eyes widened when he realized that the kunai had an explosive note on it. Damn, I let my guard down. The kunai exploded, taking Kakashi in as well. Got him, he's not so. Naruto froze when he felt a presence behind him. He turned his head slightly and saw Kakashi's crouched figure going through a series of hand signs. What the hell? Sasuke was pissed off now. He couldn't take much more of Naruto's crap. If he let that little punk show him up anymore, people might actually start to think Naruto was stronger than him. Damn that Naruto, what the hell is thinking, going one-on-one with a Junin. Sasuke-kun, are you okay? You seemed worried about Naruto. Sakura, who had followed him from the beginning of the bell test, was right next to him. They were both in a prone position watching Naruto's fight with Kakashi. TCH, I'm not worried about him one bit, that fool. Sakura thought it was a good time to woo Sasuke by agreeing with him. She wanted to get on his good side, no matter what it took. Yeah, you're right, Sasuke-kun. Naruto's such an idiot. Who does he think is going up against Kakashi-sensei? Sasuke took his attention from the fight and brought it towards Sakura. He gave her a death glare, making her stare into his eyes. That would have been good for Sakura if Sasuke's eyes hadn't been so cold. You don't know anything, do you, Sakura? Sakura let out the gasp that one might compare to that of a scared puppy. But, you just said that he was a fool, right, Sasuke-kun? Sasuke took his glare back to the fight, relieving her heart a bit, but she could still feel Sasuke's eyes on her. Of course I said he was a fool, but you're even more of a fool. Let me ask you, what do you think this whole test is really about? Kakashi said that it was. Sakura was cut off by Sasuke putting his hand over her mouth. She was at least decent enough to blush at that. Her words died out as muffles under Sasuke's hand. Stop talking. Sure, that's what Kakashi said, but don't you know what he meant? Sakura shook her head and forced out a muffled, no. It's obvious that this stupid test is to utilize our teamwork. We're put in groups of 3 as genin, not 1. We are to work as a team. That's what Kakashi wanted to test us on. Sakura shook her head up and down this time, indicating that she understood. I think Naruto already knows this though. I think that he is trying to send us a message, more like he's the one testing us, that Dobi. HMPH, that fool wants to send us silent messages, then I say fuck him. He should learn to talk. That asshole. Sasuke got up from his prone position and crouched, just enough that he could remain upright but still be hidden in the underbrush. As he watched, Sasuke's eyes widened at what Kakashi was doing. What the hell, those hand seals? Tiger, that hand seal is only used for jutsu that can kill a person. Sakura pulled Sasuke's hand away from her mouth. Wait, Kakashi's going to kill Naruto. I don't like him either, but killing him's taking it too far. Sakura looked in Sasuke's direction. Sasuke-kun, where are you going? Stupid, I'm going out there to help that fool. Sasuke reared up and jumped up into a tree. What the hell? Naruto said as he looked his sensei, finish going through hand seals. Naruto, you shouldn't be so cocky, you know. Naruto smirked. Bite me, Kakashi-sensei. I'd rather do this. Ultimate technique, ninja art. 1000 years of death. Kakashi kept his both hands in the tiger seal formation and thrusted them both forward, aimed at Naruto's ass. Shit, Naruto said. You're finished. Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi looked up as he heard a certain baritone voice from above. He saw a flash of blue. That was all he could see before he had to jump back to avoid a hard heel drop aimed at his head. Kakashi's eyes smiled when he saw who it was. Sasuke-kun, you're here too? Are you just as reckless as Naruto, or do you actually have something up your sleeve? Sasuke, who had just jumped out of the tree to block Naruto from a very unmasculine death. Naruto turned and faced both Kakashi and Sasuke. Seems like you understood what I was trying to say, maybe we can work together. Sasuke turned and faced Naruto. Not a chance, Dobi. HMPH, like I needed it, it's not like I was in trouble or anything. That's not what it looked like to me, Dobi. Naruto's eyes got serious all of a sudden. He took his eyes off Sasuke and put them back on Kakashi. Enough talk, if you want to help me then help. With that, Naruto ran past Sasuke, passing the Uchiha without him ever knowing. Sasuke felt a sudden gust of wind, and before he knew it, Naruto had already ran past him and was headed for Kakashi. Kakashi waited as Naruto came in. He was fast, but to Kakashi he seemed to be moving at the normal speed a genin would possess. Naruto took out a kunai and flung it at Kakashi's head, which Kakashi dodged by moving his head to the side. In a second, Naruto was on him. The blonde boy attempted a right hook to Kakashi's face but failed when Kakashi jumped back to avoid it. Naruto followed by a low spinning sweep kick. When Kakashi jumped over that, Naruto rose a little, making it a reverse roundhouse to Kakashi's face. Kakashi blocked and grabbed Naruto's leg and flung him into the air like he did before, right above his head. That won't cut it this time, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto reached into his pouch and pulled out several shuriken which he flung at Kakashi below. Kakashi pulled out a kunai and blocked them all as soon as they came. Amazing, Kakashi-sensei, but you shouldn't worry about my shuriken. What? Kakashi said as he looked down from Naruto and turned his vision on in front of him. All he saw was Sasuke's foot coming at his face. He blocked his kick but was surprised when Sasuke spun around and made a grab for his bells. Not today, Kakashi said as he punched Sasuke in his stomach, properly knocking the wind out of him for a second. Kakashi fully spun around and was now behind Sasuke. He was about to strike but stopped when he saw something flashing in front of Naruto. It looked like metal coming his way. More kunai, how academy student-like. Kakashi's eyes widened, though when he saw who threw it, he was expecting it to be Sakura. He got a big surprise. He saw Naruto standing upside down on a tree branch, smiling. A clone? Kakashi said. A shadow clone, to be exact. Yelled the Naruto, who was in the air. Kakashi's eyes widened. He was stupefied at the fact that a mere genin could use a Junin-level technique. But how can you use such a jutsu? Don't forget about me. Kakashi snapped back to reality when saw Sasuke, who in some point in time caught the kunai thrown by Naruto, turn around and slash him with the kunai. He even managed to draw a little bit of blood. Kakashi jumped back to avoid any further damage. Go to hell, Kakashi. Kakashi looked up again and saw the real Naruto's black clothing coming down at him. Kakashi did another back jump to escape a deadly elbow from the sky. He was no far behind both Naruto and Sasuke. These kids are really keeping me on my toes. It seems like they get the point of this test. Well, except for Sakura. It's so sad what love can do to a girl. At that moment when Kakashi was in mid-jump he heard a voice that sounded particularly feminine. "I got you." Kakashi turned around only to be greeted by Sakura's leg in his gut. "I spoke too soon. Damn, this girl is strong." Kakashi was sent flying back in the direction of Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke decided to take action. "Naruto, move out the way," he said as he began to make hand seals. Naruto jumped away to the side making the same hand seal as Sasuke. "I wasn't expecting you, Sakura-chan, but thanks." Sakura just smiled and waved, but she looked slightly scared for some reason. "Naruto, how do you?" "Don't ask," Naruto said as he cut Sasuke off. With that they both turned their attention to Kakashi, they both breathed in, and their hand seals both ended with the tiger seal. And together they yelled, "Kaden! Gokakyu no Jutsu! Fire release! Great fireball technique!" "Crap," was all Kakashi could say before he was hit by two torrents of flames. The bigger flame was obviously Naruto's. The blast from the two jutsu colliding with each other scattered smoke and dust everywhere on the training grounds. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura stayed in their positions as the dust cleared. The impact of the jutsu left a huge crater at the point of impact. Through the smoke they could see a faint outline of a body lying inside of the crater. "We got him," Sakura yelled while jumping up and down. Her inner self was screaming, "Cha-cha," to no end inside her head. Sasuke just put his hands in his pockets and tried to act all cool. "Whatever," he said with a nonchalant tone. "Wait," Sasuke and Sakura both snapped their heads. "We didn't get him, look closely." Sasuke and Sakura looked carefully in the crater and their eyes widened when they saw nothing. "Too bad, you missed. Jump," Naruto yelled as he followed his own command. It was too late for Sasuke and Sakura though, as a pair of hands sprouted out from beneath both of them and pulled them into ground, just up until their heads. Kakashi popped out of the ground underneath Naruto and came after Naruto in the air. "You're not the only who can use clones, Naruto," Kakashi said as he punched Naruto in the stomach, followed by a double-fisted downward thrust to the ground. Naruto hit the ground, making several cracks in it. Naruto felt the piercing sensation the impact of hitting the ground left him with, it felt sharp and pulsing. He ignored the pain and still stood up. "Come on Kakashi, let me show what clones are." Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Two other Narutos appeared at the real Naruto's side. They both ran at Kakashi with that above Genin speed. The Naruto on the right charged in first and jumped over Kakashi's head. The Naruto on the left came in with a hard roundhouse, which was blocked by Kakashi. "Don't forget him," Naruto said as he pointed to the first clone in the air. "I didn't forget you, Naruto," Kakashi said as a clone of Kakashi erupted from the ground behind him and gave the Naruto clone in the air a clean uppercut, making him poof out of existence. The Kakashi clone then landed on the real one's shoulders and thrusted off of him. He then hit the Naruto in clone in front of him with fast knee to the face, making him disappear as well. "You see, Naruto, rushing into everything isn't the way to go. How about you think this over before coming it? Come up with a plan first," Kakashi said as his clone disappeared. "Naruto, I'm going to strike first now, it's the only time I will do this, so pay attention." Kakashi ran at Naruto with amazing speed. He grabbed Naruto's by his collar and brought him up to eye level. "What are you looking at, you creep?" Kakashi continued to look at Naruto with his one-eyed gaze. "Your eyes, they bring back memories." "What the hell is that supposed to mean? How the hell could you have memories of me? I don't even know you that well." "It's nothing, Naruto, just nothing." Naruto was confused at the fact that Kakashi was so engrossed in his eyes. He knew that his eyes were weird, but did they really attract people's attention that much? Both Naruto and Kakashi were broken from their thoughts when they heard a loud buzz. "Time is up, you failed to get the bells." Naruto could hear the sad cries of Sakura coming from her location in the dirt. "We failed, no, she said. "Damn it," Sasuke said. Kakashi put Naruto down and walked away from him and over to Sasuke and Sakura. "Yes, time's up, you all failed to get the bells from me in the time I gave you." Kakashi scratched the back of his head, sheepishly. "Don't get sad over this though, honestly I didn't expect you guys to put up this much of a fight, I'm impressed." "Hey Kakashi-sensei." Kakashi looked back at Naruto to see what he wanted. His eyes widened when he saw what Naruto held in his hand. "When did you?" Naruto let out a loud chuckle, for what he held in his hands was what he was aiming for the whole time. Wow, Kakashi-sensei, that was harder than I thought. Getting these bells caused me to actually work with those two. He said, pointing at Sakura and Sasuke. What's that supposed to mean, Dobi? Nothing, Teme. Now get yourself out of the dirt. You look stupid, the both of you. Kakashi made a ram seal and the ground around Sakura and Sasuke widened and they both climbed out of their manholes. Kakashi sighed and put his hands in his pockets. Naruto had gotten him. He was fooled by a genin. He knew if word got out about this the other Junin wouldn't let him live this down. This was the first time a group of genin had passed his bell test. Kakashi was caught off guard and he had to accept it. Good job, but tell me, when did you do it, Naruto? Naruto, who had taken to walking over to Kakashi and the rest of his team, stuck his index finger out. Right after Sakura kicked you and right before Sasuke and I hit you with our jutsu. Kakashi scratched his chin trying to remember what happened before he went underground to escape the Gokakyu no Jutsu. Explain, Kakashi said. Naruto waited until Sakura and Sasuke finished dusting themselves off and walked over to him and Kakashi before continuing. Remember that clone I had throw a kunai towards Sasuke? Kakashi nodded and smiled when he realized what Naruto had done. He started to laugh. What's so funny, Kakashi-sensei? What did Naruto do? Sakura asked. He rubbed the back of his head and turned to Sakura. I sent my clone to get them right before. Kakashi dug underground. This guy over there. Naruto pointed to a tree and a clone of him jumped out. I told him to swipe the bells right after Kakashi got hit by you, Sakura-chan. Sakura honestly couldn't figure it out. She never saw a thing. All she saw was Kakashi go flying into the fire. Wow, I didn't see a thing. I never knew that Naruto was this strong. He actually seemed pretty cool when he was fighting with Sasuke, but no matter. Sasuke's my man. Okay, well, since Naruto got the bells from me, I guess you all pass. Let me ask you something though, do any of you know the actual meaning of this test? Teamwork, Naruto said. Wow, you guys really did know. Okay, then you all pass. Tomorrow we start our first mission. This test was an all-out success. Kakashi stuck up a big thumbs up to everyone. Now go and get something to eat, I know you're all hungry. Yay, Sasuke-kun, do you want to go get some ramen together? Sakura asked with a blush. No, Sasuke said immediately as he walked away, soon to be followed by Sakura. Naruto shook his head at Sakura's played-out attempt at getting a date with Sasuke. Just asking was never the way to go with a guy like Sasuke, then again he was Sasuke. Naruto, can you come with me for a second? I need to talk with you and the Hokage. Naruto turned to Kakashi. Whatever, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto and Kakashi both stood in front of the Sandaime Hokage. They were in his office and both Naruto and Sarutobi wore confused faces. Kakashi-sensei, why'd I have to keep my eyes closed? This is really starting to piss me off. Now bear with it, Naruto. Honestly, Kakashi-san, I don't see the point to holding Naruto-kun's eyes closed. You'll see. Naruto, open your eyes. Naruto opened his eyes and rubbed them a couple times. Naruto looked at his surrogate grandfather. He raised his brow when he saw the expression on his face. Hey, Oji-san, what's wrong with you? What's up with that face? Naruto looked at the aged man in confusion. What? Naruto, your eyes, they came back. Naruto zoomed in on this. The old man had said that his eyes had come back, meaning that he had seen them like this before. Naruto looked at Kakashi, then he looked back at Sandaime. It seemed like Kakashi also knew about Naruto's eyes. This seemed like old news that had just resurfaced to them. Wait, they've come back? Oji-san, what's going? You know about my eyes. The Hokage shook his head. Yes. Of course I do, Naruto, and so does Kakashi-san. They're exactly like your father's. Naruto took a step back. My father? Yes, you may know him. I know him. Kakashi and Sarutobi looked at Naruto in disbelief. Naruto couldn't have actually known his father. Your father is dead, Naruto. There is no way you could have known who he was. Kakashi said. I don't know him, but I know who he is, the Yondaime Hokage. More disbelief came when Naruto said this. Sandaime leaned forward on his desk and rubbed his temples. He looked down for a moment and then looked back up. His eyes made him seem a little angry. Naruto, who told you about your father? His voice seemed to shake. Kakashi sensed that he shouldn't say anything and backed away from the Hokage's desk as well. This information was top secret. No one above Anbu knew about your father's identity. Someone else did, Oji-san, Naruto said without a single hit of fear in his voice. Who was it? Naruto took a long pause before continuing. He figured that something as important as this could only be revealed in dead silence. The one that my father sealed away. Sarutobi's eyes stayed as they were. Kakashi's visible eye sprouted a couple inches. That was the one who told me, Kyuubi no Kitsune. Silence. Silence from Kakashi, silence from Sarutobi, even silence from that loud-mouthed street merchant selling cabbage in the streets below. Naruto knew the Kyuubi. This whole time everyone who knew of it thought Naruto was oblivious to its existence inside of him. They were all wrong. Kakashi was the first to speak up. He broke the foreboding silence. Naruto, how long have you known? Since I was 6. Why didn't you tell me? Kakashi let out a sigh. He then walked over to the Hokage's desk and stood there so that he was facing Naruto. He looked at the Hokage, hoping for him to say something. I was going to wait until you were at least 15. Kakashi let out a sigh of relief. It's too late for that now, Oji-san. I suppose you're right. Kakashi-san, I'm afraid that I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Kakashi sighed and shrugged his shoulders. But I thought that. Sarutobi's eyes suddenly became very serious. Kakashi let out another one of those lazy sighs. I guess it can't be helped then. Report back, am I clear? Yes, Hokage-sama. Kakashi made a hand sign and gave Naruto a glance. He then disappeared in a plume of smoke. Naruto looked at the Hokage. Oji-san, your father was indeed Yondaime. It was him who sealed Kyuubi no Kitsune inside of you. He wished for me to tell you about this when you were old enough, but since you already know about it, there's no point in telling you. Let me ask you this, Naruto-kun, can you talk to it? Naruto waited for a second and then responded. Yes, I can talk to him freely. It is sort of a mental link between us. Sarutobi shook his head in an understanding way. I see. Well, seeing as you can do that, I suppose there is no use hiding it from you any longer. Naruto raised his brow. Keeping what from me, Oji-san? The truth about the Kyuubi and your father's legacy. Sit. Naruto did as he was told and took a chair from the back of the room and pulled up to the old man's desk. Your father gave me something before he gave his life to save the village. He also told me a grave secret. Naruto stayed still in his seat. He needed to hear this one. It was probably the most important moment of his life, so far. He leaned out of his seat as he waited for the Hokage to finish what he was saying. He told me. The secrets of his clan. Naruto's eyes widened. Clan? What was this about a clan? Naruto knew he had a father and perhaps a mother, but a clan, impossible. Clan? What clan are you talking about? Sarutobi chuckled. What's so funny, Oji-san? What? Nothing, it's just the look on your face. Anyway. His facial expression changed to one of seriousness. His clan, the Namikaze clan. Naruto-kun, you aren't Naruto Uzumaki. You are Naruto Namikaze, the successor to the Namikaze clan and the lone survivor. Quote, Naruto's eyes widened. He never knew about any of this. Kyuubi didn't mention anything about. Maybe he didn't know. Naruto decided that it was not the time to contemplate on whether or not Kyuubi was hiding things from him. Oji-san, what is it that he told you? Naruto-kun, your father told me of the one thing that led to the end of your clan. He told me of the existence of his Kekkei Genkai, your eyes. Sarutobi expected Naruto's next reaction. He knew how surprised the boy would be, and he was fully prepared to handle it. So my eyes are like this because I have a Kekkei Genkai. Naruto put his head down. Naruto-kun, I know that it's a lot to Naruto-kun? He stopped when he heard a sound coming from Naruto. It sounded like snickering. The snickering grew louder. Yes, this is so awesome. I have a Kekkei Genkai. This just makes me so much more awesome than I already am. So what's its name? Sarutobi just smiled at the boy's enthusiasm. This would have been a lot for most people to handle, but Naruto took it like it was gift of some sort. Hey, Oji-san, didn't you hear me? I said what's its name? Now calm down, Naruto-kun, I'll tell you the name. It's called the Geostigma. It is what marks those who have your Kekkei Genkai. Those eyes of yours are the Geostigma. The sacred mark of your clan's Kekkei Genkai existing within your body. However, the true name of your clan's Kekkei Genkai I do not know. You will have to find that out for yourself. This Geostigma, it's only a mark, so how I find out my Kekkei Genkai's true name? I don't know, Naruto-kun. Minato only told me of the mark. Minato? It's your father's name, right? Naruto said. What was it that he gave you, Oji-san? He gave me this. Sarutobi looked down and reached into his desk. He ruffled through a bunch of paper. Thurn made a hand sign. He said, release. There was a flash of light from the Sandame's desk and seconds later he pulled out a small black journal and a large scroll that had the kanji for seal on it and handed it to Naruto. What's this, Oji-san? Your father's last words are in that journal, Naruto-kun. It was something he told me that I should give you immediately after you found out about your Kekkei Genkai. I have no knowledge of what is inside of that book, however. And what about this scroll? Just the hell am I supposed to do with this? Ah, this scroll contains your family's jutsu and possibly the secret to your Kekkei Genkai. Minato told me that I shouldn't open it, or else I would be done for. He said that only one with the geostigma and his genes may open this scroll and no one else. Naruto looked down at the scroll and journal in his hand. He always wanted to know more about his father and this might be his only chance. Naruto-kun, it would be best for you if you were to hide this from everyone. You mean the scroll and journal? Not only that but your true identity, no one should know that you are a Namikaze. Resume your current alias as Naruto Uzumaki. Sure, I can do that. Naruto walked over to the window and opened it. He stood on the windowsill and looked back at the Hokage. Be well, Naruto-kun. See ya, Oji-san. With that, Naruto jumped out of the window towards his house. He looked at the scroll and journal. The geostigma, huh? Concentration. Concentration was the key. If he was going to do this he needed nothing but pure concentration. Chakra to the eyes, then it is completely cut off, leaving no traces of chakra ever being there, drained. His thoughts had to be closed off from anything outside what he was doing and he needed no distractions. No way that would be the worst thing that could befall him at this very moment. Naruto sat on his bedroom floor in a cross-legged lotus position. His eyes were closed, his body was tense, and his mind was surrounded by metaphorical walls of concentration. Concentration, peace, solitude, order and control, these were the things that fueled him at this very moment. He hoped that no one who looked like a certain nine-tailed vermin would decide to speak out. Naruto sat in his boxers and black t-shirt in complete silence. His forehead had various wrinkles on it due to his current hard concentration. Come on close already, thought Naruto to himself. Why is this so hard? Naruto's breathing quickened in pace. All I have to do is pump chakra into my eyes then immediately drain it from them. This should be a breeze for me. Naruto ruffled around in frustration from his seated position. Damn, why can't I do this? I'm exactly what my father told me to do in that journal. This is harder than it looks. Naruto went through the steps again in his head over and over. Force chakra into the eyes then drain it from them leaving not a trace. Naruto did exactly that and still could not get his Kekkei Genkai to activate. Man, I'm going to be in trouble if I don't learn how to deactivate this thing. How about you try? No. Naruto screamed inside his head while breaking his concentration seconds after. That was one thing Naruto was counting on, for Kyuubi to keep his trap shut. Naruto couldn't stand that weird feeling that came into his head every time Kyuubi decided to speak through their mental link. Kyuubi, I told not to say anything to me. You know I can't stand that weird feeling in my head, plus it broke my concentration, you know. Naruto's frustration grew even more untamed when he received no response from Kyuubi. Damn you, trying to break my solitude just so you can get a laugh. How selfish can you be, Kyuubi? Naruto then stopped himself. He had almost forgotten that he was talking to Kyuubi no Kitsune, Lord of all demons. He was practically as selfish as one could ever even dream of being. Although that didn't explain why he gave Naruto back his true self. Naruto sighed loudly and lay his back on the hard wood floor of his bedroom. I can't do this crap. How the hell am I supposed to deactivate this stupid mark thing? Father, you didn't explain it well enough. Naruto looked up at the ceiling of his room and played back the events of the day before. He saw them clearly. Waking up in the forest, Kakashi's belt test, the conversation he had with Oji-san, it was all crystal clear. As if it had happened yesterday. Oh wait, it did. Naruto's mind then wandered over to what had happened when he got home yesterday. He began to clearly recap the events leading to what he was doing right now. Flashback. Naruto jumped in through the open window of his apartment and closed it securely. He ran around closing all windows then finally went to his room. slamming the door behind him and closing himself inside. He sat on his bed staring at the two items in his hand. One was the scroll, the other was the journal. Through all the silence that enveloped his room, he finally noticed that he was breathing heavily. Naruto had been in such a rush to get home that he didn't even bother to stop by Ichiraku's to get some ramen. He just kept running and rooftop hopping. The scroll and the journal were the most important things to him at that moment. Believe it or not, ramen couldn't even get Naruto to not go home, where he was alone. He actually wanted to be alone. Okay. I want to do this right away, before I do anything else. Priority 1 read this journal. Naruto placed the large scroll on a desk right beside his bed and kept the journal in his hand. Naruto looked at the journal with both anticipation and fear. Finally, I'm going to know something of how my father was like, finally. Naruto said. He took the journal and tried to open it but found no way to open it. There was a lock on it but no key. What? I can't open it. No, how am I supposed to read my father's last words to me? Then Naruto felt it, that weird feeling, the feeling he got every time a certain nine-tailed fox spoke inside his head. What do you want? I'm kind of in the middle of something important, you know. Naruto, don't be stupid, remember what that old man said, only those your father's Kekkei Genkai and blood can open it. Naruto contemplated on whether or not he should put Kyuubi's words to work. Giving it a try won't kill anybody, at least that's what Naruto hoped. That's right, what Oji-san said, it might not apply only to the scroll. Naruto looked at the journal, then to his hand, then he looked back. Blood. Naruto bit his thumb, drawing blood and smeared a little onto the lock of his father's journal. Naruto waited for a reaction, and in a few seconds the lock started to smoke, as if the insides were on fire. The smoke continued to lightly flow out of the lock until Naruto heard a loud click and the lock popped open, opening the journal itself and taking Naruto to the first page. Blood, it's powerful. He opened the book and began to read. It read, "To my son, Naruto, if you were reading this right now, I'm dead. You are probably old enough to understand what is going on right now, about the Kyuubi no Kitsune. You may not know what is going on or who is writing this, so I'll tell you my name. Minato Namikaze. Right now you are the last of our clan, the Namikaze clan. You are the rightful successor and head of the Namikaze clan. I knew that you would find out sooner or later, I just wanted to tell you myself. Naruto, you have the thing that lead to our clan's downfall, the geostigma. A sacred mark that resides within the eye of all Namikazes. Listen Naruto, I'm telling that you need to learn how to control your Kekkei Genkai. Not only will it protect you but it will make you stronger. The geostigmatus was not just our Kekkei Genkai, but is also the reason of our clan's demise. Naruto, the Namikaze clan did not die out, they were exterminated. For 20 years our clan was hunted in secrecy by a group of ancient deities. Because the geostigma was such a powerful Kekkei Genkai, it was highly coveted among these collectors. They were called the Seiki, bill collectors, a group of extremely powerful and otherworldly collectors of all things powerful. They collected these things in hopes of gaining power themselves. Prepare yourself, my son, you are in grave danger. The Seiki will come for you. I'm not sure when, but I'm definitely sure that they will come in time. So I'm giving you this warning. Learn how to use your Kekkei Genkai and all will be well. Oh, and Naruto, I'm sorry about Kyuubi, I had no other choice, but to do it. The circumstances were very dire at the time. You don't have to believe me, but all I want you to know is that I love you, Naruto Namikaze. You remember that my hopes for you were that you be treated like a hero. Oh, and in order for you to open that scroll you need to learn how to deactivate the geostigma. The key is to force chakra into the eyes, then instantly drain it from them, leaving no traces of chakra even being there. I'm leaving you in charge of rebuilding our clan. Remember, you are my son. Sincerely your father, Minato Namikaze. Naruto sat at the edge of his bed. He looked toward the direction of the scroll, then looked back at the black book that was still open in his hands. Kyuubi, let me ask you something. Did you know about these Seiki things? If you do, tell me. Naruto felt that weird feeling he always got in the back of his head, but accepted it willingly. He needed to hear Kyuubi out. Anything he had was good enough. Well, I don't know a lot, but all I can tell you is that they have some sort of unbreakable connection with the Shinigami. The only time I got information about them was when I got it through rumors from other demons. So practically I can only tell you one thing. Is that enough? Kyuubi waited for Naruto's response. Although he didn't care, He just didn't want to hear from the loud-mouthed brat. He had too many other things to do. Right now he could be sleeping or something. TCH, what kind of info is that, Kyuubi? That's all you got? Naruto laughed when he heard Kyuubi's low-pitched grumble inside his head. Well, I have no time to waste. I have to start on this task right now. Naruto put his father's journal inside his drawer for safekeeping. It was the best he had. He picked up the scroll and sat on the floor with it in front of him. This should be easy, thought Naruto. Well, he thought. End of flashback. Stupid scroll, why won't it open? Stupid eyes, why can't I make this stupid Geo thing disappear? Naruto pulled his hair, causing him to feel the pain that kept him awake all night. Naruto crawled to his bed and used it to help him stand up. Deactivating the geostigma takes a lot of chakra control. If it weren't for Naruto's large amount of chakra, he probably would have passed out a couple hours ago. I'll do this later, for now that scroll's going to have to wait. Naruto walked into his bathroom to prepare himself. Time for a mission. He was ready. Not his first, but he was ready. Naruto stood perched in a tree, silent as a ninja should be. He made not a sound, not a motion, not even a thought. That was broken, though he had to make a sound. This is Uzumaki, I at point B, over. Listened to the static of his headset, until he heard a voice answer him. This is Haruno. Over, oh I'm at point C. All that was left was for Sasuke to answer. Naruto waited through the static until it stopped. I'm at point C, Sasuke said in a frank tone. Kakashi, we're all in position, what should we do? Is the target in sight? Kakashi answered back. Naruto responded with a short, yeah. Naruto kept his eyes on the target and awaited his sensei's response. He was ready for anything. On my mark, approach the target, but use extreme caution, the target is extremely fragile. Geez, Naruto said. It's just a cat, Kakashi-sensei, don't you think extreme caution is going a little overboard? Well yeah, but this is the cat that's owned by the daimyo's wife after all. Naruto stayed silent. He had seen the daimyo's wife before, she was huge. That was one lady he didn't want to get mad, she probably had the lungs of a banshee. Naruto decided that Kakashi's answer was a wise one and went along with it. Hey, point taken. Naruto responded sheepishly. Now give us the signal. There was a long pause before Naruto heard Kakashi's voice again. You know, like one of the silent pauses you hear right when the decides to blow, that was the one. The pause came and left, and with that Kakashi's voice ensued. Now, Naruto, Sakura and Sasuke jumped out of their respective hiding spots and quickly approached their fragile target. Sakura and Sasuke dived for the cat but failed when it jumped out of the way, resulting in them crashing heads. Naruto, however, pounced straight on it. His approach from above was the best choice out of the three. Naruto stood up holding the cat upside down by its hind legs. He sighed when he saw both Sasuke and Sakura rubbing their heads from the pain. Honestly, his teammates could help him catch the great Kakashi Hatake of guard, but they couldn't catch a cat by themselves. Useless. Naruto tapped his headset twice and fixed the mouthpiece before speaking into it. He turned away from his two teammates. Kakashi-sensei, the stupid cat has been captured and confirmed. There's a red ribbon on its right ear. This is definitely the stupid cat. He ignored the sound of the cat's hissing when he called it stupid, which he thought it was. He heard Kakashi's distinct voice ring in his ear. Okay, mission accomplished, return to the starting point, so that I can report to the Hokage. Naruto responded with a short, whatever. He turned around to Sasuke and Sakura. Get up, I know the headbang didn't hurt that badly so. Then Naruto stopped. Then he thought about it. Sakura's forehead must have weighed at least a good 20 pounds, poor unfortunate Sasuke. Never mind. Naruto then hopped into a tree and looked back at them. Catch up. He yelled. He then brought the cat he was holding to eye level. Next time you run away you'd better be careful, I'll kill you next time. Naruto smiled in satisfaction when he heard the cat's hiss go down to something close to a dog's whimper. HMPH, maybe you're not so stupid after all. With that, Naruto jumped off the branch and to his starting point. Naruto, Sakura and Sasuke stood inside the Hokage's office, all in a line with Kakashi in front of them. He stood facing the Hokage. Hokage-sama, the mission was a success. Lady Daimyo's cat was captured and is safely back in her possession. The old man responded with a nod. Okay, dismissed. Team 7 has no more missions for the day, you can all relax. said the old man. Relax from what? All we did was find a stupid cat, for some lady. Sakura gasped at Naruto's belligerence. Naruto, show some respect to the Hokage, honestly. Naruto glared at Sakura, making her stop mid-sentence. Sakura felt the intent of his stare and she stopped herself from continuing. Lately Naruto had been glaring at her more and she wasn't too happy about it, but it's not like there was anything she could do about it. Naruto took his stare away from Sakura and put it back on the Hokage. Oji-san, why are you giving us such boring missions? Kakashi looked at Naruto. Naruto-kun, that's enough, it's only your first day and you don't have that much experience. It's only natural that you take on such low-ranked missions. But Kakashi-sensei, D-ranked missions, come on, don't you think we're stronger than that? That's not the point, Naruto, you're still inexperienced, so when the time is right, Naruto, you will get higher-ranked missions. Naruto grumbled and crossed his arms. Whatever, he said as he walked out the door. Where are you going, Naruto? Sakura said. Naruto looked back at her. Well, Oji-san did say that we were dismissed. With that, Naruto walked out of the room, leaving everyone inside. As Naruto through the hall, he found a random window and jumped out of it to save some time. Flipped forward and put his feet on the side of the tower and then began to run down. It took Naruto a couple of seconds to run down the whole Hokage tower, but for some reason it seemed longer to him. These missions suck. Naruto yelled inside of his head as he made his way from the side of the tower and onto the actual street. Maybe some ramen would calm me down. That was one thing about Naruto that definitely didn't change, his love for ramen, that would probably never go away, no matter how much he changed. That was a fact. While Naruto walked along the streets towards the Ichiraku ramen bar, he saw the villagers glancing at him. If it had been 7 years back, Naruto still wouldn't have known why the villagers would stare at him like that. He fully aware of the fact that they hated him because of his curse and blessing, Kyuubi no Kitsune. Before, the way they looked at him would usually make him cry, but no, he didn't care when the villagers called him names and glared at him. He sometimes liked the looks of fear in their eyes. It made him feel powerful. That wasn't the kind of power that he wanted though, nonetheless he came to accept it. Hey look, it's the The random villager stopped dead in his tracks when he saw Naruto stare at him. Loser, brat, trash, poor, the worst, he could take people calling him that, but demon, that was one thing that he couldn't take. Kyuubi was demon here, not him, he was just the container. A smile came to his face as his nose welcomed familiar smell that always overwhelmed him every time he smelled it. The air smelled of miso pork ramen, his favorite. If the air smelled nice, then he must have been close to the ramen bar. Naruto. What? Naruto said, ignoring the glares from the villagers and switching his attention on Kyuubi. What is it? You know, if you don't like these missions, how about you train? What? But I train all the time. How is that going to help? I've been training to prepare myself for these missions for like a week now, and I have not even been on one that's worthwhile. Naruto heard to deep rumbling Kyuubi chuckle that Kyuubi would always do. He was obviously missing something. What? The training that I'm talking about is different. This type of training requires you to be completely alone. You will be training with me from now on. Understood? I never agreed to this training, Kyuubi. But I'll go along with. After all, it's not every day that you get to train with a giant immortal fox. Good, that's what I wanted to hear. Naruto made a little nod before cutting off the connection between him and Kyuubi. Now was not the time to talk about training or anything else, all there was is ramen. Time to eat, said Naruto as he walked into the Ichiraku ramen bar. Tenten couldn't stand ramen, it was so common. Everyone ate ramen, ninjas, villagers, even the Hokage ate it. She wanted something original and out of the ordinary. Ramen just didn't make the cut, it was for everyone. Fancy platters with decorative silverware, that was her, a 5-star girl, maybe even a 6-star. Still, in all her yearning for top-class food, Tenten ate it with her team all the time. She didn't like it, but if it made her team happy, then she was all up for it. Tenten, the weapons master, a born prodigy and now currently sitting at the front bar of the Ichiraku ramen bar. She sat there slowly eating her chicken-flavored ramen, while her teammates Neji and Lee had an eating contest of miso. She let herself a small smile at her teammates' rivalry. Guys, don't you think that you slow down, guys? Neji and Lee stopped their repeated slurping and looked at Tenten. Now wait, Tenten, this ramen is my nourishment, the preservation of my youth depends on it. Neji, being too preserved to even say something like that, just nodded in agreement. Both boys looked at each other for a quick second before going back to their bowls. Tenten could have sworn that she saw actual sparks fly between their eyes. Seeing that it was of no use, Tenten went back to her bowl. She rested her head on her hand while lazily poking around her bowl for who knows what. Naruto-kun, nice to see you again. No, nice to see you, Ayame-chan. Tenten and her teammates looked at who the waitress was talking to. A short boy with unruly blonde hair stood at the far edge of the bar. He looked to be a genin and was very familiar. It looked like Neji and Lee were even trying to figure out who he was, as they had stopped eating. One order of miso, Ayame-chan. He sat down. Coming right up, Ayame answered. Tenten continued to stare at the boy, hoping that he wouldn't notice. She stared and stared until she felt something on her shoulder. It was Lee tapping her. She turned to him. What is it, Lee? She said in a barely audible tone. Tenten, isn't that kid a genin? Neji also leaned into the conversation. Yeah, what about? Well, that's Uzumaki Naruto. He's supposed to be the bane of Konoha. The worst of the worst. He's supposedly so weak that his skills don't even pass for that of an academy student. Neji tuned in also. I wonder how he got that headband. Neji said. Nobody that is as weak as you say he is should be able to become a genin. He should still be in the academy. Really? Tenten said in a low whisper, then looking over to Naruto. Her eyes widened when she saw that he wasn't there. Tenten frowned. You see guys, he probably heard you, now he left. Not quite. Tenten, Lee and Neji froze when they heard Naruto's voice behind them. When she turned around, she came eye to eye with Naruto, his blue and orange toward her dark brown. Tenten jumped back a little, with a blush on her face. Naruto was leaning directly into her face. After a few seconds though, he leaned back. Neji and Lee turned around and saw Naruto standing there with a bowl of piping hot miso ramen in his hand. The only thought that went through each of their heads was, fast. You're right. My name's Uzumaki Naruto and I'm a genin, and by the looks of it so are you guys. Let me just ask you something, is there any reason why you guys are talking about me? There's no re. Neji cut Tenten off, no doubt he saved her there. Like my teammate said, there's not really that much of a reason. We just wanted to know why it is that you have that Hida 8 on your head. Because I'm a genin, obviously. Naruto said in an annoyed voice. He noticed that Tenten no longer had her eyes on him. They looked at the ground as if she was trying to avoid him. Well, by what I've heard you don't have that much of an honorable reputation. And Neji had just heard that a couple seconds ago. Well, I think honorable reps only come when there's a stick up your ass. Oh, and what was that about me being weak? Nothing, it just went with reputation. Naruto nodded and raised up an eyebrow. He shrugged and then walked back to his seat. Oh, and by the way, what are your names? Lee was first to speak then. He immediately sprang up with an army-style salute. Lee, I am Rock Lee, Konoha's handsome devil. Naruto raised his eyebrow even further and nodded. He looked at Neji. Hyuga Neji. Naruto also nodded. He then looked at Tenten. What about you? Naruto said as he slurped his miso in his mouth. Tenten almost jumped when she heard Naruto's voice. Oh, I'm Tenten. Naruto chuckled. What, no last name? Tenten chuckled slightly at this. Higurashi, my name's Tenten Higurashi. Bet you didn't know that. I'm still not sure if I know her last name. Naruto picked up his bowl and drank the rest of his soup. Ayame-chan, the money's on the counter. He yelled. With that he stood up, all clad in black and muscled into the three genin. Then I'll be seeing you, Lee, Neji, Tenten. Tenten could have sworn that she heard him say her name with a hint of something else in it. Naruto then jumped onto the rooftops and sped away. Really fast. Lee said. Yeah, those rumors about him may not exactly be true, don't you think, Tenten? Oh yeah, they may not be. She said as she turned back toward her common food. Ramen, oh, the food of the plebeian and boring, definitely not her type of food. Naruto hopped into his apartment's window with ease. He closed the window and threw his pack on his bed. Naruto threw a glance at the scroll that he still wasn't able to open. He still needed to train in Then Naruto remembered, training with Kyuubi, he could still do that. He laid on his bed and closed his eyes, opening up the mental link between them. In his mind he spoke. Kyuubi, is it too early to start that training that you were talking about? Naruto got that weird feeling again. He never liked it when Kyuubi did that to him. No, we can start now. Great, Naruto said while opening his eyes. Let's get started right now, as soon as possible. No, not here, this isn't the right place for your training, somewhere wide but secluded. Is that all, Kyuubi? Naruto felt Kyuubi's mental nod. He hopped off his bed not wanting to waste any time and made a beak for his window. He stopped and then ran back to get his clan's scroll. Then he hopped out the window as fast as he had came into it. Very secluded area. Naruto stood in a wide open plain, that was miles away from Konoha. It was sectioned off by a ring of trees that hid its presence. He stood in the middle of the plain and observed his surroundings. Perfect, now what's first? Naruto said through his mental link. Naruto, the key to getting stronger is knowing what you can do. Training comes easier if you know what to train first, that is why I will tell you about elemental affinities. What are? Don't cut me off, like I was saying, all humans are born with something called an elemental affinity. It is a natural connection to nature's elements that all humans have. Some connections are stronger than others. There are 5 elements: wind, fire, water, earth, and lightning. You should have a connection to one of them. How strong it is depends on the odds. So what is my elemental affinity? Let's find out then. Red chakra began to swirl around Naruto's body. At first it took him by surprise, but after a few seconds he calmed down. He raised his hands up to his face and observed the veil of crimson energy that surrounded them. It was almost as if the red energy was like a second skin. Naruto closed his eyes, enjoying the warm feeling that came the red chakra. Picked up. The trees gently blew with the rising breeze. Naruto could feel everything. What is this stuff? Is this mine, this chakra, is it all for me? No, it's my chakra and it's yours only if I will it to be. Oh, Naruto said in his fantastic state of semi-euphoria, the feeling that was somewhat close to that of ecstasy. So what are you doing to me? Naruto said as the glorious warmth spread through his body like a wildfire being pushed on by gale force winds. Naruto could feel it, the power, the extrasensory, the feeling of invincibility. I just finished analyzing you. Then the feeling went away. In a split second it was gone as fast as it came. The winds died down, the trees no longer swayed with the non-existent breeze. Naruto returned from his state of semi-conciseness. It just left, much to the displeasure of Naruto. What happened? Why did you take the power away? Like I said, I finished analyzing you for you elemental affinities. Naruto, this is peculiar. Normally someone of your age should not have this much of a connection with nature. You have more than one elemental connection. Is that bad? Kyuubi mentally shook his head. No, that astounding, you actually have 3 elemental affinities. Most chunin don't even have that many. Naruto felt proud. Getting praise from the great Kyuubi no Kitsune was a hard task, but Naruto got it by just being him. 1 element was what he expected, but 3, that was phenomenal according to what Kyuubi was saying. So what are they? Wind, fire, and water. That is an extremely rare combination. For one you have wind, which is rare by itself, but then you also have connection to the 2 polar opposites fire and water, very rare indeed. Consider yourself lucky, even some of the most powerful shinobi do not have a connection to these 3 natures at the same time. It's a sure sign that you are destined to defy great odds. So basically what you are saying is that I'm awesome and can't be stopped. Naruto laughed when Kyuubi made a deep sigh. So what's next? Naruto asked while opening up his eyes, pupils dilated from the harsh light that entered without warning. Teach me something, he said. Well, since you are already adept in controlling chakra, I will skip that part. We need to work with adapting your chakra according to the nature. For example, when you think about wind, what do you see? Naruto closed his eyes and envisioned what wind would look like to him. It looks sharp, yet free. Small but fast. Now try to make your chakras sharp and fast. Naruto did as he was told. He relaxed himself and took hold of his chakra. His chakra felt wide and spread out, but he concentrated to make it smaller and more accurate. A faint glow made his way around Naruto's body. It didn't move at all. It stood still. No tiny wiggle, just still, sharp. Can you feel it? Naruto nodded. He had felt his chakra before, but this new feeling was great, the feeling of being on point, accurate, fast, sharp. Good, now I have a jutsu for you, something that I learned a couple decades back. It is purely wind-natured. I want you to hit the tree behind you with it. What's its name? I'll tell you, but you have to hear it for yourself. At first Naruto was confused, but in a split second he understood what the fox meant. With an intake of breath, Naruto concentrated, cleared his mind and focused his chakra to a point. He opened his eyes and spun around, yelling out, Fuuten. Hira Repuu no Jutsu. Wind release. Gale palm technique. A huge blast of chakra erupted from Naruto's palm, taking the form of gale force wind, hitting the tree behind him and ripping it out of its roots and off the ground. 2 other trees were caught in the crossfire, but they did not fly off, they only leaned to the side a bit. Whoa, that's the power of wind? Yeah, do you feel it? Can you do it again? Are adept at it, if not will you be? Naruto answered a simple, yes. Then prove it to me, look up. Naruto looked up and saw a bunch of leaves gently descending to the ground. Cut 3 of those before they hit the ground. Easy. He concentrated, the wind picked up, his chakra acquitted itself. He extended his palm upward and in no time what used to be 3 leaves was now 9. Is that enough? Good, you understand, but let me tell, I shall not teach any more jutsu based on wind, you have to figure it out for yourself. Remember to keep your chakras sharp and clean. On to you, second affinity, fire. You already know a jutsu, but I shall teach you one more, but first you need to know how to adapt your chakra to be in sync with the element fire. Flare your chakra, make it fierce and wild, let it run rampart. The small faint glow around Naruto began to grow brighter, the sharp field transformed itself into a wild, fierce, and powerful. Flaring his chakra even more, Naruto brought his hands out in front of him and smirked. You mean like this, right? Kyuubi responded positively. In order to do this jutsu you will have to gather chakra into your hand. And flare, but immediately contain it. It's a close-range fire STLYE jutsu. Here it is, I want you to hit the ground with it, let it explode on contact. Naruto ran and jumped in the air and set his eyes on the ground below him. He gathered chakra into his right fist, making it erupt in a swirl of red flames. Naruto pivoted into a free-falling position and dropped towards the ground. His inferno at hand grew even more violent. Kaden. Kobushi Dai no Jutsu. Fire release. Great palm technique. Almost there. He further compacted his chakra in his hand so that it looked like his whole arm might explode at any second. He was now yards from the ground, he struck. Now, he let all of his compacted chakra go loose on impact with the floor. The result was a huge 20-foot crater. He was in the middle of the huge scorched crater. He smelled of smoke and had burned his left hand. Ow, my hand-eye. But Naruto stopped when his hand immediately began to heal itself. Never mind, he said, what else do you have? Finally, I have a water-style jutsu for you. Unlike the other 2, this one actually requires hand signs, so it may be harder to execute than the other 2. By what you've read in the scroll of sealing, I suppose that you know the hand signs to the water fang projectile. Yeah, I do. Naruto began to get what Kyuubi was saying, but then he got confused. How the hell was he supposed to do a water drill when there wasn't any water? Maybe. Naruto began to rapidly make hand signs. Suiden. Suigaden. Water release. Water fang projectile. Water. Naruto expected were for 2 drill-like tendrils of water to come out of nowhere, but what he got was nothing, no moisture, not a single drop of it, not even some water vapor. Maybe I can't do it just yet, Naruto said as he huffed. Why did you tell me to do that? It was a test of your strength and to see if your connection to water was great enough that you could make water out of chakra. It may not be there yet, but your affinity with water will grow stronger. But know that that's done. I want you to go home and try to open the scroll. Why? I'm not going to be opening it anytime soon. So, Naruto stopped when he heard Kyuubi roar in the back of his head. Okay, fine, you don't have to be such a baby about it, Naruto said as he walked out of the crater, brushing himself off. Then he stopped. You can come out now, I already know that you're here, so it would be pointless if you hide in the trees. Sasuke Teme. Naruto's thoughts were confirmed when he saw Sasuke drop out of the tree in front of him. The lone Uchiha's face carried an expression of anger. What do you want? Sasuke stood still for a couple of seconds then spoke. How did you do those jutsu you just did a couple of minutes ago? Why, would you like to know? Sasuke cocked his head to the side and looked in the other direction. TCH, I was just wondering how you got so strong, Dobi. It doesn't even matter though, I can still kick your ass though. Sasuke smirked, it like he wanted to fight. Really, is that what you think, or did I give you some form of amnesia when I punched you in the face a week ago? Naruto said while pointing to his nose. His open mocks made Sasuke growl in anger. Last time that was a lucky shot. Get through your head, Dobi. This I'm not going to go so easy on you. Sasuke's usually calm voice had now risen to that of a yell. Naruto's was breaking him down. We'll see who's stronger than who. Naruto, Dobi, fight me, he said as he made a straight charge for Naruto. Naruto simply stood there waiting for Sasuke's arrival. When he came, he threw a punch at Naruto, which Naruto easily dodged. He then spun around and kicked Sasuke into his man-made crater. HMPH, face it Sasuke, you can't beat me Uteme. It doesn't matter if you were the best in the class, haven't you ever heard that first is the worst? With his final word Naruto disappeared leaving Sasuke in to stew in his own muck, his scorched and smelly muck. 12 dark figures stood in a brightly lit room. It seemed castle-like, if there were castles in space. The room they stood in looked like it was from some weird Final Fantasy thriller. The 12 ominous figures stood in a circle, surrounding the last 13th figure. They were all clad in black and had hoods on their heads, completely contradicting the white and silver walls that surrounded them. The figure in middle spoke first. He has revealed himself, the last Namikaze and the only possessor of the Geostigma. Now is the time to strike. But how? Said one of the cloaked figures. The one in the middle and supposed leader spoke again. Through his mind, Lark. We attack him through his mind, and for that we need a woman's touch. He pointed to another figure, except this one was smaller, and had the curves of a woman. She spoke out with a feminine voice. I see Zexin-sama, I know what to do. But are you sure that that is all you want to be done to the child? Yes Lerxine, that is all. I would rather not resort to violence, but rather negotiate with the boy, see if he will come quietly, who knows, he might even survive. The other cloaked figures all nodded their heads in agreement with their leader's plan. He spoke up again. The mission is almost complete. All we need is the power of the last Namikaze, then we, the Seiki, will be immortal. Zexin raised his hands up as if praising something. A new age of immortality is coming, we will rise once again, and gain our rightful positions as demigods. He put his hands down. Lerxine, the savage nymph, you are to approach the Namikaze in secrecy, do not alert anyone else beside our target about your existence. Lerxine stepped up to Zexin and knelt down. She looked up, you would have seen her face but her hood obscured such sights. May I know the location Zexin-sama? Hai no Kuni, more specifically Konohagakure no Sato. You are to go as soon as possible, which would be now, understood? Yes, Lerxine said as she disappeared in a flash of speed. Another figure stepped up to Zexin. Her speed is indeed impressive. Yes, indeed it is. Zexin said. What's your point Roland? Nothing Zexin-sama, I was just saying. Roland said as he stepped back into the circle that was now reduced to 11 members instead of 12. Good, Zexin said. Dismissed. All of the cloaked figures. The Seiki all bowed at once and walked away in their separate directions, leaving Zexin alone inside the bright room. He looked out of a very large window to behind him, observing the moon. In time, Naruto Namikaze, in time. With that Zexin stuck his finger into thin air and opened up what seemed to be like a portal of dark chakra. It was roughly square, and there were tiny sparks coming from its sides. With that Zexin walked into the portal. All that could be heard was his cold chuckle dying out as the portal closed behind him. There was a snap and the brightly lit room seemed to just shut down completely. The lights went off and what was once brilliant light became pitch blackness. A hooded female figure moved through the dark forest with amazing speed. She sped along the canopy with ease, looking only in one direction, Konohagakure no Sato. Target, almost reached, she said, not even bothering to stop to rest. After a few minutes of forest the scenery changed from trees to Konoha. The hooded female stood at the edge of a cliff, looking at the border of Konoha. Nice village, she said in her feminine voice. Lerxine flipped her hood off of her head, revealing her short platinum blonde hair. She gave one of the two horn-like strands of hair on the top of her head a flick and smiled. No, it was more like a smirk, a devious little smirk. Lerxine closed her eyes. A pulse of chakra emanated from her and in an instant she opened her eyes. Found you Namikaze, she said in a song-like tune. Found you. She looked at him with lust on the mind. His sweat-covered body, his hard features, those unique eyes of his that always captivated her at a moment's notice. He played with her hair as she did him, over and over, then they'd switch. When it was over they would lay down and stare at each other, trading words such as "I love you" and "You're so beautiful." She lay her head on his hard chest and he sighed with the tingling touch of her dark hair. He would hold her body in a tight embrace, and whisper that he loved her, and she would sigh from his warm breath on her earlobe. "I love you," he would say. "I love you too," she would say, in her sweet feminine voice that always turned him on. It was the same reaction she gave him whenever he spoke with his masculine one. They would sit there after what seemed like an eternity and then go at it again, and again and again until they were fully satisfied. Staring at each other's eyes was enough for them after that. That's all they wanted to do at that point. Just stop and stare, and when their eyes met, they would intertwine their hands. Talking with such low voices that not even a person who was in the room with them would hear their conversation. It was just the two of them in their own little world called the bedroom. His blue and orange eyes locked onto her white ones and vice versa. He called her perfect in every way, and she would giggle at his flattering comments and then reward him with a kiss, one that them both on. Turn-ons, the thing that usually led to their overnight love sessions, always a crowd pleasure for them. She would hold onto him tight as he crawled out of the bed saying that he would be back in a few minutes. Then she would watch him go out of her room and into the bathroom, being epitome of her perfect man. Strong, handsome, optimistic, a believer, and big, boy was he big. He satisfied her every time they wrestled under the covers. He treated her right. What more could she ask for? He was all she wanted, all she needed, him and nothing more. The knob to her bathroom would click and turn open and he would come walking out, fully naked and with a smile on his face, and glued to his package were none other but her white eyes, but they would quickly go up to his face again. He was everything she could wish for in a boyfriend. Too bad she couldn't have him though, too bad he wasn't her boyfriend. Hyuga Hinata's eyes snapped open. Looked around in the confines of her own room. Good thing it was her room. The Hyuga heiress felt her face, it felt warm, hot even. Shuffling in bed, Hinata put her back against the wall at the head of her bed. Through all of her squirming she felt something wet in her sheets, between her legs. Hinata lifted up her covers to find that her panties were soaked and it wasn't water that was in them. "Not again," she said with a sad sigh. She had been having the same dream over and over each night and they were always about a certain Uzumaki Naruto. She got up and inspected her cover to see if she might have soaked them as well, but all was well, as they were dry. Left drawer in her dresser, that's where she kept all of her underwear and that's where she went, opening it and getting a new pair of underwear while tossing the old wet ones in a basket full of dirty clothes, making sure that she put those ones at the bottom of the basket. Her mouth sounded off another sad sigh as she slipped on her new dry underwear. He was her perfect man, except he had one fatal flaw in him that no other girl saw in him. To the young Hyuga heiress Uzumaki Naruto was unobtainable. "Naruto-kun," she said as she lay back in her bed, the pale moonlight making her face glow and further intensifying how love-stricken she had become over her perfect man. "I going to erase your flaw, and I'll be your G-girlfriend." Then the pale-eyed girl slowly drifted off to sleep, beginning to once again dream of her unobtainable prize. "You love him, don't you?" Hinata's eyes opened once again. She could have sworn that she heard a girl's voice, but she labeled it as a figment of her imagination. "You want to be with him, right?" The voice came again, this time a little louder. "Who are you? What do you want?" Hinata pulled her sheets up past her nose so that her covers left enough room for her to see. "The one you want, I can help you be with him." Hinata's eyes widened at what the low female voice said. Hinata may not have known who the girl was, but if she would help her get to Naruto then she couldn't be there to hurt her. The thing is, who was she? Where are you? The girl's voice sounded like it was everywhere, ghost-like, in her head. Hinata decided to show some courage and inched her covers away from her face and brought them down to her chest. "I'm here in front of you, activate your bloodline." Hinata did as she was told to by the female apparition and activated her family's Kekkei Genkai, the Byakugan. Making the proper hand signs, Hinata's eyes suddenly became surrounded by bulging veins. A trait only for those of the Hyuga family. Her eyes were as wide as saucers when she what, or who was in front of her. Somehow, standing right in front of her, not hidden from the unique vision of the Byakugan, was Chakra. Simply Chakra, it was standing right in front of her. She quickly inched backward as she let out a series of gasps and hard breaths. "Don't be afraid." Hinata tried not to be afraid. She tried looking directly at the floating energy source, but couldn't. Her body wouldn't do as she commanded it to. Her mind told her to look, but her fear would not let her body cease its shaking. As she continued to shake and look away from the chakra, and it came closer. "Don't come any closer," she said in a low and scared whisper. Why are you here?" Her eyes began to tear up from the overwhelming fear that hit them. There was a long silence, as if the world had been put on pause. "I'm here to help get to the one you love. I'm on a mission to ensure your happiness." She heard a quick, shush, from the suspended chakra in front of her. "Say no more, only what I ask. I am an angel, I was sent by the almighty Kami, here to ensure that you are happy. He has noticed something in you, your everlasting love for a certain boy, even though he was shunned by society and yet you try to acknowledge him. That is something Kami feels should not go on unrewarded." Knowing that she had just been visited by a divine being, Hinata still cold not stop shaking. She knew that angels never meant any harm, they were pure beings, but for some reason Hinata couldn't stop being afraid. "So you're going to help me?" "Yes. Okay, I'll accept it then. Thank you, young child. But before I aid you, tell your name first and who you love." Hinata wiped the tears from her face and found the courage to look directly at the angel. After a few sniffles of relief she spoke. Hyuga Hinata, and I love Uzumaki Naruto." "Good," the angel of chakra said. "Now, hold out your hand." Hinata reluctantly stuck out her hand to the female force of chakra. "Touch me." Hinata did as she was told and touched the chakra, and in what seemed like an instant the angel was gone in a vibrant flash of light. Hinata rubbed her eyes and blinked several times in confusion. "Angel-sama, where are you?" "In here," she said in her graceful voice. "Inside of you, I will not do everything for you. I'm only here to guide you, Hinata-chan." Hinata nodded and laid back in her bed. Angel-sama, is there anything that you would like for me to call you while you are here?" "Angel is perfect for now, as I cannot tell you my real name." "Oh, and Hinata-chan, don't tell anyone about my existence in you." Hinata nodded once again before she closed her eyes and went on to resume her previously interrupted fantasies of her perfect man. Deactivation, it seemed impossible, in Naruto's eyes. It simply couldn't be done for some reason. That's what the blonde nin seemed to think, well before he actually did it. It was something that he thought that he would never do, but a giant nine-tailed fox's training would always help a person through their troubles, if they accepted it. A feeling of pride raced through Naruto's very being as he stared at his reflection in the mirror. It was great to be back, but if Naruto had to be honest, he liked his original eyes better. They were more unique, orange and blue eyes suited him better than just regular old blue ones. Now my eyes look normal again," Naruto said with a bored sigh, his already faded away. "How boring. You know, Kyuubi, I thought that I would be glad when I finally deactivated my geostigma, but actually having normal eyes suck." He thought as he flashed his Kekkei Genkai on and off in front of his bedroom mirror. Normal, unique, definitely unique. My eyes look way better with the geostigma on," Naruto said as he openly expressed his opinion on his bloodline limit to Kyuubi. Naruto continued to deactivate and reactivate his Kekkei Genkai, constantly replaying the effects it had on his eyes. "Naruto, you said that you wouldn't open the scroll yesterday because it was late and you had just learned to control your Kekkei Genkai. But here's a suggestion, how about you stop fucking around and open the scroll already?" Naruto jumped back from the mirror at the sound of Kyuubi's demonic voice. "Okay, I'll open it, geez." Naruto flashed his eyes on and off on final time before walking off to his room to get the scroll. "Bottom drawer, underneath the underwear if I remember correctly," Naruto said as he opened his drawers, digging through new and old pairs of boxers. Through the feel of soft linen his hand hit something hard, the scroll. With a satisfactory sigh, Naruto picked up the scroll and tossed it onto his bed. He looked at it and opened up his mental link with Kyuubi. "Hey Kyuubi, you ready for this?" He felt something of a mental nod come from the fox. "Alright, check this out." Naruto looked at the seal on the scroll with his geostigma activated. He flashed it off, and with the certain glowing that came from the scroll the seal started to light up and burn away. "TCH, easy as pie. Hey Baka, don't go around thinking you're all high and mighty now that you have a Kekkei Genkai, it'd be best to just keep this whole thing undercover. Understand?" Naruto looked at the scroll and chuckled with a satisfied look on his face. Not at all, Kyuubi, I don't have a clue. Who cares if I tell people of my Kekkei Genkai, it's not like they'll even know about it. People don't even know who my dad is, let alone what my eyes can do. Now I'm going to ask this again, but this time answer me with words. Dad, you ready for this? There was a long silence, it seemed like an angry silence. Yeah, I'm ready for this, brat. Good thing too, I probably wouldn't have opened it without you anyway. The seal fully burned away, and Naruto slipped his finger underneath the frail paper of the old scroll. Naruto's eyes widened when he saw what was in it. His eyes were like two big white UFOs that were turned sideways. There was nothing but descriptions to a jutsu and in some writings. The jutsu, named the Rasengan, an S-ranked jutsu, the only known jutsu of the Namikaze clan. It had a warning underneath it in big red letters. They read, "Do not attempt to use this jutsu without following instructions." Underneath that were none other than the instructions to performing the jutsu. The writing at the far right of the scroll had the words for Naruto Namikaze next to them. He began to read. It read, "Naruto, I don't have much time left, so I'm leaving you this one jutsu, the Rasengan, a technique of my creation, one of my best jutsus I have ever made. There is one other person who knows this jutsu, Naruto, his name is Jiraiya. I assume that you only are reading this, so I'll go on. What I'm about to tell is about the geostigma. It will help protect you from the Seiki. I hope. It is the true nature of our clan's Kekkei Genkai, its true name and why it is so coveted by the denizens of the divine world. Son, the geostigma, its power isn't that of a normal Kekkei Genkai. True, it is similar to other dojutsu-type Kekkei Genkai such as the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan or the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan, but its power is very different. The geostigma is nothing but an alias to its real name. You will have to find out its true name by yourself, as did all Namikaze. Along with the changes in eye color that the geostigma give you, it also holds a very distinct power, the power of manipulation. As a Namikaze, the geostigma allows us to manipulate nature's elements, the reason for it being so coveted among the Seiki. The power of manipulation is a powerful asset when you are the divine. Naruto, as you may not know, but the form of the geostigma that you should contain now is not its complete form. What you possess is nothing but its premature form. So I'm asking you to learn how to control your Kekkei Genkai and help it evolve within your eyes. If you wish to survive, then you must learn to use it correctly and protect yourself from the Seiki. Survive, Naruto, survive. I know that this may be a lot on your shoulders and I didn't mean for you to carry this burden, but you are the last Namikaze. I'm sorry. Naruto, you are one who is to rebuild Namikaze clan and be the first to awaken the geostigma to its final stage of maturity, a feat that none of us have ever done. This is what my legacy was, the rebuilding of our clan, the awakening of the geostigma and the destruction of the Seiki as a whole. It's up to you, Namikaze Naruto. Namikaze Minato. P.S. A warning of the Seiki, beware the Black Phoenix. Naruto trembled, his body shook violently with rage and sadness. His grip on the open paper of the scroll tightened, almost ripping it apart. So I'm the only one who can destroy these things, the only one who can fully awaken the geostigma. He chuckled. Father, you're such an idiot, what were you thinking? How can you expect me to defend myself from these things? How am I supposed to rebuild the clan? What does he want me to do, fuck every girl in Konoha? Naruto. No, Kyuubi, it's okay, I can handle this. My father knew I could. He wouldn't have put this much responsibility on me if he didn't. A small smile began to creep on his lips. His chuckle grew louder. Then if this is what I must do, then so be it. Hey, you sure took that much better than I had expected. I'm surprised at your maturity. Naruto shrugged and stood up. He wiped some dust off his shoulder and blew on his new black attire. Naruto rolled up the scroll in his hand and put it back in his drawer. I guess that's just the kind of person my father would have wanted me to be. That doesn't mean that I'm not mad though. Still, I'm glad that you didn't overreact like your past self would have. Nah, that's not who I am anymore. I'm a different person, and besides I really don't feel like getting angry right now. Naruto said as he headed toward his door. But right now I need some time to think. Not to mention that I need to figure out a way to awaken my Kekkei Genkai to its fullest potential. He headed towards the door with the Hokage's stone faces as his destination. When he opened it, he came face to face with a hooded figure, a female. Her hood covered her facial features and she wore a tightly fitted black trench coat, Naruto didn't fail to notice the curves of puberty that adorned her nice body. "Who the hell are you?" She said nothing, she only walked forward, trying to enter his apartment, but Naruto blocked her and fixed an annoyed glare on her. "You know it's impolite to just try to walk into a person's house without introducing yourself, so how about you answer my question, who the hell are you?" She giggled and brought her hand up to Naruto's chest, but Naruto caught it. "What the hell do you think you're doing? What do you think, I'm dumb or something? If you're going to try to attack me, you'd better learn to conceal your chakra better. Since I got up this morning I felt it flaring." The hooded female gave a short gasp of shock and then laughed again. Naruto's eyes widened when he was blown back into his apartment by an invisible force. She walked in and took off her hood. "You old bitch, you'll pay for that." "Old bitch? I'll have you know that I'm only 13 and I'm not a bitch." She pulled off her hood, revealing short blonde hair that had two horn-like stirps of hair that stuck out when she took off her hood, and green eyes that rivaled the luster of Haruno Sakura's green orbs. "Hey, I may not like that bitch named Sakura, but she's got great eyes." She walked up to a still-prone Naruto and picked him up by the nape of his jacket's collar in a sheer display of strength. The blonde stared at him with blazing emerald green eyes, not to mention that her face had a blush that could compete with Hyuga Hinata's. "Why you? Who do you think I'm calling me an old bitch? If you weren't a Namikaze I'd. Naruto grabbed her hand, shoved her off. "How did you know I was a Namikaze?" Naruto was in a state of shock. Nobody but Kakashi and Oji-san were supposed to know about his identity as a Namikaze. Now Naruto really wanted to know who this person was. She didn't seem to be a Konoha nin. She didn't seem to be a nin at all. She didn't even wear a Hida 8. She could have been a nuke nin, from some distant place like Suna or something, but she just didn't seem to play the part. "Our leader told us, actually we all know who you are and I've been sent here to retrieve you. You may not know who I am, but Seiki." The blonde girl's confident smirk left her face after Naruto said those words. "What?" I said. "Seiki, an organization of powerful and ruthless hunters, or should I say collectors, that once hunted down the revered Namikaze clan and exterminated us in secrecy. You desired our Kekkei Genkai and now I suppose you're here to finish the job?" She stood in front of Naruto with an impressed expression on her face. "Wow," she said, "I guess you do know who I am. It doesn't matter though, you're still going to have to come with me. Hey, what's so funny?" She moved her face in closer to Naruto's, earning her an annoyed blush from his impassive smile. "Nothing's really that funny, but I was just thinking that you're really inattentive for someone in the Seiki." The blonde girl's eyes widened when she felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned her head around to see another Naruto about to come down on her with a kunai. "Gotcha," he said, but before the Naruto clone could make contact with her, she disappeared, throwing him off balance and making him almost hit the real Naruto. She reappeared in front of his door and shut it closed and locked it. She put her hands on her hips. "Now Namikaze, be quiet and come with me. I would rather avoid fighting, so. You get the point." Naruto smirked while his shadow clone dispersed. "You may not want to fight, but I do." He stuck his hand out and gathered his chakra. "First tell me your name." She sighed and rolled her eyes. "Like it really matters, but since you want to hear the name of the person who takes you in, I'll tell you. I am Lerxine, the savage nymph of the Seiki, pleased to meet your acquaintance," she said as she gave Naruto a curt bow. "Good, Fuuten. Repusho. Wind release, gale wind palm." A blast of chakra-converted air blasted out of Naruto's open hand and hit Lerxine head-on, blasting her through the closed door of Naruto's apartment and making her crash onto the streets below. Naruto ran full speed and jumped out of his house after her. "Son of a bitch," she said as she back-flipped and landed on her feet and looked up at the still-falling Naruto. "That's Naruto to you, tramp," he said as he spun his body forward, doing several front flips into a high-flying axe kick onto the blonde Seiki member. "Take this." But Naruto's plan failed, as Lerxine grabbed his foot and seemingly absorbing the impact of his high-risk maneuver and making the ground beneath crack from the force of Naruto's kick. She pulled Naruto's leg down and gave Naruto a powerful headbutt, keeping him suspended in the air for a little longer. "That's not going to work, Namikaze." She then punched Naruto into the air. She then disappeared and kicked him back down into the ground. "Damn you," Naruto said as he spit up blood. Watched Lerxine hit the ground with grace. He stood up and flashed his Kekkei Genkai on. He suddenly felt his chakra begin to surge. Is that the geostigma? Lerxine thought as she watched Naruto's eye color change from blue to blue and orange. This may get sticky. Why did Master Zexen send me to capture this kid? I'm the weakest member, and besides I just joined this organization. What am I thinking? I can take this guy, no matter how good looking he is. Lerxine stared at Naruto's eyes with a blush. Naruto smirked then disappeared. Lerxine's green eyes widened as she stumbled back in surprise. She felt a great force on her back and was lifted up in the air. She yelled in pain from the force of Naruto's punch that was soon followed by a crushing elbow that sent her towards the ground. Kaden. Gukakyu no Jutsu, said Naruto as he finished making the proper hand seals. He breathed in deeply and spat out a giant fireball of fire. The flames burst onto the ground making a huge explosion. Naruto landed on the ground in front of the burning crater. He smiled at the sound of the crackling flames but then he heard it. That damned demon child, I knew he was no good. He's brought this type of commotion into the village. Why doesn't he go and die already? Naruto heard the scared cries of the villagers ran away trying to get away from his fight with Lerxine. He saw the faces of the frightened children who saw what he just did. Burning a girl probably wasn't the best choice in this scenario. Still he didn't care. He made a tiger seal and in one quick motion he sucked the flames up into his mouth making them vanish within a few seconds. Seiki huh? I thought she would be tougher than that, too bad though I was expecting more of a fight. Naruto's eyes widened when he sensed a familiar chakra signature behind him. Really, you wanted a fight then how about I stop playing around to give it to you then Naruto? Suddenly a sharp pain went through Naruto's side. He looked down and saw that there was a kunai sticking out of his right ribcage. He spat out even more blood as he looked behind him and saw Lerxine. Now come with me Namikaze. No, I'm not, going anywhere. Naruto yelled as he grabbed the blade and thrust it back out of his ribs. He spun around and hit Lerxine with a powerful backhand sending her crashing into one of the many street-side markets that were run by local Konoha villagers. Fuck you, and good luck catching me. Naruto yelled as he disappeared in a flash of speed. His blood still staining the spot where he stood. How troublesome, she said as she looked around. Sorry about the boy folks, I'll have him captured in a matter of minutes. She raised her hands up to plead with the scared villagers. Good, now go get him, said a random villager. Giving a thumbs up she closed her eyes and pulsed her chakra. Found you. Lerxine then disappeared. Naruto breathed hard as he jumped through the forest looking for a place to rest. He saw a thick tree and decided that that would be the spot for a pit stop. Damn, she got me, Naruto said as he rested on the trunk of a large tree. He gazed at the sun trying to catch his breath. His Kekkei Genkai deactivated and his eyes back to blue. Hey Kyuubi, hurry up and finish healing my wound already. Don't rush me, if applied too much chakra to the wound that could end up doing more harm than good. Alright, just hurry it up, I want to go and kick that bitch's ass already. Oh yeah, kick her ass like you did back in Konoha? Kyuubi asked in a very sarcastic way. Shut up Kyuubi, I should kick your ass. Naruto listened to the sounds of the forest, scanning them for any signs of Lerxine. The only sound that Naruto really wanted to hear was the slight burning sound that came from his wounds healing. Damn, how could have not sensed her presence behind me, she got me. My jutsus didn't work against her and she's got crazy strength. I've really got to think of a way to beat her before she gets to me. Naruto said as his wound fully healed up. Too late Namikaze. Naruto's head jerked at the sound of her voice. He looked around in many directions. Left, up, down, right, there she was. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw Lerxine sitting right next to him with a happy grin on her face. Naruto said nothing, he was simply frozen. Compared to this girl who was only a year older than him he might as well have been. Her speed made Naruto look like a slug. How fast are you? I don't know, how about you help me figure that out? Lerxine said as she backhanded him into the tree he was against. That backhand was soon followed by a swift left punch that Naruto barely evaded by ducking. She then spun around and attempted to hit him a spinning back kick but Naruto dodged by jumping up sticking to the side of the tree with her under him. Don't run. Lerxine went after Naruto but he jumped out of the way. He then flipped over so that he was upside down facing her. He then started to make many hand seals. Fuuten. Daitopa. Wind release. Great breakthrough. Naruto brought his hand to his mouth and took in a deep breath. He blew out a huge gust at Lerxine. It would have done a lot of damage if it had hit her, but unfortunately for Naruto, Lerxine was already gone. Naruto watched as his blast of air destroyed the tree and ripped it to pieces. "Too bad you missed," she said from behind him. Before Naruto could react, she grabbed his arms and placed them at his side. She then went into a suicide lotus-style piledriver. As both of them fell down, they gained speed, going faster and faster. Damn, Naruto thought. He made reach for his kunai pouch, grabbing 2 kunai out of it, but it was too late. The hard ground was his inevitable destination. No, bye-bye. Both blondes hit the ground with terrible force, scattering dust and rock everywhere. The end result, a huge crater made by the force of their impact. There was a huge plume of dust in the air. By the looks of the crash, it seemed as if both blondes had been injured by the suicidal move, but that idea was gone as Lerxine jumped back out of the smoke. She waited for the dust to clear. "I hope I didn't kill him. Master Zexin would be furious with me if I did." She held her breath in hopes of Naruto not being dead, but when the dust settled, her eyebrows rose in shock when she saw Naruto seemingly floating in the air inches above the ground. He held onto a thin piece of string in both of his hands. It looked he was hanging by something invisible. She looked at where his hands were pointed and saw 2 kunai lodged into the side of 2 trees. Connected to them were 2 strings of thread, the same 2 that Naruto was holding onto. Lerxine gasped at her newfound revelation. Naruto hadn't taken any damage at all. He flicked 2 kunai out at the last moment, and using the string that was attached to them, he pulled himself up, forcing her to let go of him at the last second and making her take all of the damage. It was smart plan, Lerxine would have to admit that, but it got her mad that he actually pulled it off. This is an outrage." Naruto looked at her and let go of his 2 strings, letting himself fall into the crater. "Man, that's some tough thread," Naruto said as he landed on his feet. Suddenly he saw a flash of black and yellow go into the crater. Baka, you think you're so smart, coming up with that plan to escape my attack. Well, I have you know that I've got much more energy than that, so a little fall like that won't damage my body." Lerxine circled Naruto over and over, creating afterimages of herself and making it look like there's more than one of her. Naruto frantically looked around trying to figure out which one was the real Lerxine. "You see, Naruto Namikaze, you can't beat my speed. I've got an idea. How about you use that geostigma of yours on me, show me its real ability." She laughed wildly as she dashed around the blonde nin. "Come on, do it." Naruto felt something pierce his right arm. He looked down and saw that it was bleeding. Another sharp pain hit his left leg. It began to bleed. Naruto saw 2 shuriken on the ground. He suspected that that was what hit him. No, really? Soon Naruto was slowly bombarded with shuriken after shuriken, his body riddled with cuts. They would heal, but with this many shuriken coming at him, it wouldn't matter if they heal because 2 new cuts were made every time one healed itself. "You want me to use it?" Naruto said. "Yes. Yes, use it, Namikaze. Use before I cut up that nice face of yours." "Well, Naruto had to switch between talking and receiving the pain from the numerous shuriken that hacked away at his body. "I can't really use it that much. I don't even know what it is. When I use it, gives me a boost in chakra, but other than that I have no idea what to do with it." Lerxine stopped circling Naruto and stopped right in front of him. She grabbed him by his collar and picked him up like before. "What do you mean that you can't use it? Then what's the point of you being a Namikaze?" Naruto stared into the eyes of his female opponent, then he remembered what that letter had said, the true nature of the geostigma, manipulators. That's what the Namikaze were, manipulators of elements. The Namikaze and their ability to manipulate nature in every aspect and form. He looked down at the ground and moved his hand while flashing his Kekkei Genkai on. "What are you doing?" Lerxine asked, not aware of what was about to happen to her. He moved his finger upward and a tiny segment of the ground moved with it. His eyes began to move. The orange tint that came from his pupil became an orange ring that circled his entire pupil. Not failing to notice this, Lerxine let go of him and backed away cautiously. "Answer me, what are you doing with those eyes?" Her voice was shaky, afraid. Naruto saw this and smiled. "I said that I didn't know what these eyes of mine did. Well, guess what? I just found out." Naruto threw a punch in the air and a rock burst out of the ground in front of Lerxine and smashed into her, ramming her into a tree before finally breaking from impact. She let out a little squeak at the pain and fell to her hands and her knees. Elemental manipulators, the true nature of the Namikaze and their Kekkei Genkai. We use our special chakra to manipulate the many aspects of nature and all its elements. Lurksine shakily got up and faced Naruto. She had gotten cut badly by a sharp piece of bark and was bleeding badly. If what you say is true and you just learned how to utilize its potential only seconds ago, then why is it that you can use it so well? Naruto laughed while holding his head high in an arrogant snobby fashion. Well, since you want to know, I'll tell you. The thing is, my chakra is extremely flexible, giving me advanced chakra control, and as you can see, learning something that would usually take days to learn will only take a days or even less depending on what it is. Naruto stomped on the ground and another rock pillar burst out of the ground and hitting Lurksine in the stomach and knocking her into the air. If I can manipulate earth, how about fire? Let your chakra flare, enrage it, make it feral. Naruto sucked in a deep breath. He felt the heat rising in himself and his chakra. He blew out a large torrent of red flames, sending them straight for Lurksine. Lurksine watched as the flames rushed in closer to her cloaked body. The bright flames illuminated her emerald eyes, brightened her skin. Beauty before death was what Lurksine had just become. She saw just beyond the corner of the flame, Naruto standing there waiting for it to burn her flesh off. She closed her eyes waiting to feel the heat of the boy's attack. Damn, she said, but when she opened her eyes to see the flames that meant her doom, they widened. The brightly torrent of fire that had once come after her was gone and she began to fall. Only to be caught in the hands of Naruto. Huh, but why didn't you kill me? Naruto looked out into the distance. I'm the enemy, so kill me. He shook his head. Nah, I'd rather keep you alive, and besides I need you for information on your organization. So consider yourself lucky, I'm sparing you, for now. Hey, how disgraceful, I got beaten by a 12-year-old. She then passed out. Naruto looked at her and then looked at her wounds, then to his already healing ones. Stupid, you're only 13, there's not that much of an age difference. Then it hit him. Wait, my house, I fucking blew a hole in the door, damn it. It's not even nighttime yet. Naruto just noticed it, it was only afternoon. What was he supposed to do for the rest of the day? He just beat some blonde chick and figures out how to use it. Now what was he supposed to do? Really, what the hell was he supposed to do? A question that I have never found the answer to. Naruto was seriously pissed. He just got attacked by the girl he was holding in his hands. He was tired and sore. The village still hated him. And no, there was a fucking hole in spot where his door was supposed to be. What else could go wrong? Well, there was the fact that he was so low on chakra that he didn't have enough energy to run back to his house. He had to walk all the way back to his small apartment carrying Lurksine, and boy was she heavy. All the villagers looked at him in fear and disgust, as if they all thought that he had just finished raping the young blonde, then proceeded to beat her. Even though that's not what really went down, the sight of him walking down the street with a young blonde girl who had ripped up clothes, was bleeding and slung over his shoulder wasn't to niece. He couldn't just walk past with an unconscious girl and say, oh no, it's not what you think, she actually tried to abduct me. Funny story actually. You see, insert alibi that no one will believe here. Yeah, that wasn't something Naruto was used to explaining. Finally he got to the second story floor that was supposed to hold his front door. Instead there was a giant hole courtesy of Naruto, in place it. Naruto stood in front of the unsightly damage done to his door, and simply observed. Observed with a twitching eyes and throbbing vein popping out of his head. This fucking sucks. He looked down at the still unconscious Lurksine, shrugged and walked through the door. He went into his room, one of the few undamaged parts of the apartment, and placed her on his bed. It was kind of stupid to put the enemy on your own bed, but it was what he could do at the time. He walked back to his broken door, grumbled. This is all her fault, he said. Now all Naruto needed to do was interrogate Lurksine about the Seiki, and he could let her go or kill her if he felt like it. Plus he also had a plus-sized hole where his door was supposed to be. Yeah, he would have to figure out what to do about that later, but that girl came first. He came back in his room where Lurksine was still sleeping soundly on his bed. He looked at her sleeping face, contemplating on whether or not he should wake her up right there on the spot. He had to admit though, for a supposedly evil member of an organization of people connected to the divine, she sure seemed like a normal girl. if you subtracted the tightly fitted trench coat, but then if you subtracted that she would be naked. All of this swirled around Naruto's highly developed brain but immediately stopped when he came to the thought of seeing Lerxine naked. He didn't need that right now, all he needed was information. Oh Naruto-kun, I know what you're thinking. Have you taken a liking to this girl here? She does have a pretty face, you know, and her body matches well with it too. No way, I'll admit she looks good, but she's a member of the Seiki. She tried to kill me if you don't remember. And besides, Kyuubi, how do you know what she looks like? Simple, I just see what you see. It's like I'm looking at a big screen television and the outside world is the channel. Naruto tapped his chin before looking once more at the sleeping blonde girl on his bed. Then he noticed that some of her clothing was ripped up, revealing a great deal of her developing bosom. He leaned in closer to take a look, but quickly ducked back when he heard Kyuubi laughter in the back of his head. No, it's definitely not worth it, Naruto said while shaking his head side to side. Huh, I'll give you an hour. I bet that by then you would have already raped this girl in her sleep. Naruto cocked his head to the side. Don't be such a dumbass, Kyuubi. I detest rapists and I would never become one of them. He thought as he closed his eyes and sat down in front of his bed in a lotus-style position. This time it was different. Instead of 13 people they only had 12. Everything was there: brightly lit room, check. Eerie atmosphere, check. 13 people in black trench coats, a no-go. They were missing one person. So unlike last time 11 people stood in a brightly lit room, they all stood around a 12th person who was the esteemed leader. It seems someone here is missing. Zexin spoke in an stoic tone. Does anyone know the whereabouts of a certain Lerxine Leones? When no one answered he chuckled. I see then, our little savage nymph has failed then, no matter, she was not of importance to us. Zexin said in an uncaring manner. She may have not been important to you, but she was to me. Zexin turned to face the person who wielded voice that angry, his hood still covering his face. Ah, Lark Leones. You grace this hall once again with another one of your unrequested outburst. Oh, I'm sorry, it seems that I have forgotten, but is Lerxine not your younger sister? Lark pulled off his black hood to show his angry face to Zexin and the others. Yes, and that's why I don't appreciate you speaking of her as if she was a useless toy. Don't take it that way, Lark, as I can't use a toy to my advantage. She would be more like a tool. That's something I can use. Lark's green eyes that matched that of his sister's went ablaze. He balled his fist up and looked down. Don't speak of her like that, I said, Lark said behind gritted teeth. Zexin took off his hood, revealing long silver hair and piercing red eyes to Lark, and stared at him with glare so cold and so chilling that it could probably freeze hell over. Remember, Lark, it was you who brought her into this. You introduced her to this world. My world, and so long as she remains in it I can speak of her in any way I choose. Lark took a couple steps back and his breathing quickened. Zexin's glare was hard and evil enough to make him feel his own heart beating. In other words, Lark just got punked. Lark tried staring down his leader, but it was of no avail. He needed to get out of that room, and now. I shall go and look for her. If I brought into your world, then I'll go and bring her back to it. He turned around and tried to walk away, but something stopped him. Some feeling in his body telling him that if he took another step he might have dropped dead right there. I don't recall asking you to go and retrieve her, Lark. Please come back. Lark turned around with an angry expression on his face. His teeth grounded into each other. He wanted to tell his leader to piss off right then and there, but he couldn't bring himself up to do so. So he just stood there, hoping that Zexin would let him go and find his little sister. Too bad Zexin wasn't the type of man to let anything go. Lark, you still didn't take your initial position, and that would make me very unhappy if you did not follow orders. The Lark felt it again, that feeling like he was staring death in the face, but this time he felt a great deal of it, more like he was staring the Shinigami in the face. Yes, Zexin-sama. Good, Lark-kun. He was nothing compared to Zexin. When it came to power he had Lark beaten. But drive was a different thing. When it came to drive, Lark was number one. His drive to protect his sister was greater than Zexin's unknown personal drive. He would have to find a way to sneak out and save Lerxine without Zexin catching him, and he would do it by any means necessary. But he had to give it to Zexin. Really, he should thank him. Zexin made him feel something that the 24-year-old Lark had not felt in a long time. Fear. Thanks, he almost forgot what it felt like. But that wouldn't stop Lark Leones from reaching his sister. That's all for now. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments.